One.
All right, and we're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Marvel Explained. My name is Rob, and today we've got the Red Lanterns turned into a Blue Lantern, Superman Doom came to an end, the Flash turned into a Black Wally West, and Spider-Man is a robot. Why doesn't everybody else on the podcast
If you love
introduce
ice
yourself?
cold
We'll start with
margarita-
you today, Sal.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sal from TV Little House, and looking forward to listening to each other talk as sultry as possible.
And Benny, why don't you introduce yourself instead of
What's
Dave?
going on, guys? This is Benny from Comic Storian, and I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to be here as part of this podcast because we get to talk about so much cool stuff. We get to talk about like Thor's original sin and what that might be, and we get to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and we get to talk about Gotham, and I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited to be here. So.
Benny, you might need to calm down. You might
No,
need
I
to
don't
do
need to
less
calm down.
monster-
I don't need to
No,
calm down.
I'm
I don't need to calm down. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be here.
I think you're really making Dave nervous, Benny. You need to calm down.
I'm just so excited to be here. I'm just so excited. I'm so excited.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
And I am Dave from Comics Reviews. That is all.
And I'm Dave. Nice. You didn't
All right,
interrupt me,
guys.
Kenny. I'm surprised.
All right, guys. Well, as usual on our podcast that we have every day, I'm going to lead you on 1,001 tangents. We're never going to
Don't
stay
forget
on
to
topic.
tell them about Thor's like the speculation on Thor and the original
Benny,
sin
you
and all that
need
kind
to
of stuff.
stop interrupting me, Benny. I'm really getting
I'm sorry to
annoyed by
interrupt.
this.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
But we're going to sit here and we're going to discuss the two TV shows that have come out this week. We're going to discuss
Original
Gotham.
sin. Don't forget about that. All right. Don't forget about original sin.
We're also going to discuss what Thor's original sin would be. Thank you so much, Benny, for jumping in on that.
I do what I
And
can.
we're going to discuss how much Benny loved Gotham and how much I loved Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes,
So-
Gotham is clearly an amazing show, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited about Gotham because it's going to be a super high profile show. You know, like the budget is obviously super high for this thing. They're just dumping money into the quality of the show, and I'm so excited. I'm just so excited. I don't know how
Hold
else
on
to
a
say, but
second.
I'm so excited.
I need to go vape on camera. Hold on.
Stop. Stop right there, Benny. Rob,
solid.
honestly, you can't even joke about Gotham being a good show.
You can't. It's
Yeah, I'm sorry, Benny, but it really wasn't a good show.
I disagree. It's DC Comics, and we all know that Marvel is dumb and DC is good. So, it's DC Comics. DC has clearly established itself as being the premier provider of comic book entertainment on TV and on the silver screen. So I just know that I'm really excited. That's all I know is that I'm just really excited about Gotham and like where the show's going to go.
I'm sorry, Rob, but you really, I'm sorry, Benny, but you really seem to be backing a different horse now, because at this point, you've been really against all of the DC TV shows and really against the TV movie stuff.
Well, the problem with that is, like, I just didn't know what I was talking about at the time. I didn't realize how incredible this show was going to be.
well, I can't argue with that. Let's.
all right. Joking aside, I can't even keep that monotone. I don't know how you talk like that. That is just insane. I have to have a crazy influx every time I say something, Rob.
mean,
I don't
it's
know how
not-
you're doing. Rob, I just need to know: do you work as a 1-900 number sex operator at night? Like,
No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't work as a sex operator.
all right. So, in all seriousness, guys, we're joking around because we're gonna be doing a funny crossover soon. I'm gonna be Rob on his channel. He's gonna be Benny on my channel. Sal's gonna be Dave on his channel, and then Sal's gonna be everyone else on our channels. And then Rob's gonna talk to stuffed animals. It's gonna be hilarious.
Yep.
But today we're going to be talking about what could Thor's sin be, because you guys keep asking us, all of us, a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm putting out Thor and Loki today, and I'm telling you right now, it doesn't reveal it in that. So there is no reveal of what the sin is. So we're going to discuss our speculation on that. We're also going to discuss Gotham, which, contrary to what Rob said, Rob did hate Gotham. So
Yeah,
I've got
Oh yeah.
I'm
was
getting
bad.
tore apart on my channel because everyone thinks that I'm now a Marvel fanboy because I disliked Gotham. But I will give you a lovely rant about Gotham when we get to that topic. And we're all going to discuss the amazing opening that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had for their first episode.
God, yes, man.
So-
That giant, great, big, huge Easter egg at the beginning of the
Which you
episode.
didn't tell
I
me
was
about.
so
I don't
excited
know if
about.
I've seen it and just didn't realize it was an Easter egg or what. But
Yeah.
Yeah, so
like,
wait,
well,
what are we talking
it's
about?
Not
Which
so
Easter
much
egg?
of an Easter
Okay,
egg
well,
as it
let's
is.
start. Let's start this off. Let's go
Okay.
through Thor's sin. Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay,
What does
so-
everyone's speculation of Thor's sin is? Now, just so you guys know who have not been following the videos or tracking what's going on with Original Sin, it has not been revealed. Okay, so you're not going to get any guaranteed spoilers. This is all speculation.
Right.
What has happened up to this point is Nick Fury decided that he got all of the secrets in Original Sin, and he whispered something to Thor that whatever the knowledge was caused Thor to scream and drop the hammer. And he has been unable to pick it up since. As a matter of fact, there's been kind of a running gag in a lot of the comics
Yeah.
where they're like, "Did we forget somebody? Oh yeah, Thor's picking up his hammer.
Yeah.
Oh, Tony Stark, what's Thor doing? Oh, he's struggling with his hammer." They're all joking about it. And in Thor and Loki, which I felt was a great story by itself, doesn't tie much into everything else, they don't reveal it either. So we all are kind of expecting in Thor #1 to reveal it, but honestly, I guarantee you they're going to drag it out. They're going to drag it out for like 10 issues. The new Thor is going to be there. Old Thor is going to be carrying the axe, which, by the way, they apparently are at least planning to run this for quite a while. This doesn't reveal what the sin is, and I don't have the issue handy, but in the latest Avengers, we do see Thor in 8 months, and he's carrying the battle axe,
Yeah.
not the
Yes.
He's got a big battle axe. So
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I think it's pretty straightforward. There's really only one sin that I can think of that would make it so that Thor is not worthy of wielding the hammer, and that's that Thor is not the son of Odin. That's what I think Marvel's gonna say.
My theory is because Thor does get, and they actually touched on this slightly in the Thor and Loki, how Thor lets his anger get the better of him a lot of times.
Yeah.
He actually, when he leaves, he says, "My anger got the better of me. I almost killed my sister." I mean, that's not a spoiler at all. It's just like his end thoughts on the whole thing.
Right.
I'm wondering if they're going to play on that. What we're going to discover is that his anger forced him to what he thought he saved somebody or something. He killed an innocent, basically, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
He wasn't aware of it. Nick Fury knew the whole time, and no one told Thor, by the way, you blew up a gas station that had like a 3-year-old baby in it or something
Right.
crazy like that. And Nick Fury told him, by the way, that child died or something, and that made him lose his worthiness. That's my theory.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like one of only a handful of things are going to happen. One, either Thor's dead and doesn't know it, or Thor is not Thor. Thor is not this, like, he's not Odin's son and he's not Thor. Because remember, in the 90s, we had Eric Masterson, Beta Ray Bill played the role of Thor, you had Cyborg Thor. Like, and you still have the events of Ragnarok, which in a lot of ways just still aren't answered.
Yeah.
So,
Well, like Straczynski tried to answer some of those questions. I mean, his run on Thor with Quipel was really cool, and I think it sought to answer those questions. It's just kind of like, yeah, I don't know.
but I mean, it's because all he did was just pop up. They said, well, Ragnarok is over with, and Thor's sleeping the sleep of whatever it was. The gods
Well,
or
everybody,
something like that.
all his guardians have like a human counterpart now, like
Yeah,
where they're
yeah.
all like they have secret identities, and it was
So, well, playing off what you just said, Rob. I mean, it could very well be another clone of Thor who thought he was Thor this whole time, giving him like a fake worthiness. Maybe since
Yeah.
Fear itself, he never actually came back.
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be interesting, but that would just,
Yeah.
I would rather
But that would
Marvel
also
come out.
negate like the last like 6 years of Thor comics. Like, by the way, this whole 6-year run, it's not him.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
That's
wish,
exactly what I
like-
would be saying.
I mean, he's been dying he died like 3 times. Like he died in Ragnarok, he died in friggin' Fear itself. Like, what was the other thing he died like some other time? And it was like you've lost all meaning for death. Like,
Well,
what's the point here?
Like Loki died in
Yeah,
Dark
Loki
Reign,
died.
I think it was. Like he was killed by
He
killed
died
by
in
the
Loki.
Void.
No,
Yeah, he died in
we have-
Siege. That's what it was. He died in Siege.
Yeah.
we officially have 2 Lokis right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had to research why there's 2 Lokis because I'm going through Thor and Loki, and because I'm going through the story. When I read it, I'm just like, oh, there's an old Loki and a young Loki,
Right.
whatever. And now I'm writing the script up, and I'm like, so why is there an old Loki and a young Loki?
Yeah. It's weird, man. Like that's one of the reasons why Thor comics are comics that I just don't really like delve too deep into. Because
Yeah.
to me, like, one, Thor's not that interesting of a character. Like, his quips are funny from time to time. you know,
Right.
but he's just not that interesting to me. And two, like, you can't just like drop into a Thor comic.
No.
No.
You just can't just like
It's
I'm
like,
gonna
it's
go
like jumping
by.
into it's like jumping in the middle of Lord of the Rings half the time.
It is,
Like what?
it is.
He's fighting dwarves and elves, and this is a giant. The way I look at it with Thor, and this is even like Hulk, and honestly, I'm not a fan of Superman for the same reason. When the character is so powerful that they can just eliminate most of their problems just by sheer strength, I
Yeah.
don't find them interesting because you need to create stupid reasons why there's actually a conflict.
Yeah.
When they're on a team, though, I love them because they're always held down by something, and they always got to come back later as like the almighty artillery gun, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think they work great on teams, but these all-powerful characters in their solo titles, I'm following Superman. I don't like it too much. I gave up on a Hulk. I actually followed Indestructible Hulk issue 10. Gave
Oh,
up
wow.
on it.
Yeah.
I did Thor, Asgard, the Marvel Now run where it started #1 again.
Yeah.
I followed that to like issue 6 and just got tired of the stupid font they were using. I'm like, I get it. He talks like a god.
Yeah. It's weird, man. Like it's, you know, that's like when I was reading Original Sin and Captain America and the Avengers showed up and like Hulk was with them. I was like, okay, like what's really gonna happen? Like what can you do with the Hulk here? Like you've got Nick
Yeah.
Fury with, you know, like just Nick Fury. Sure, he's got armor and stuff, but like he's obviously no match for the Hulk. And somehow or another, he just totally incapacitated Bruce Banner. Like just
Yeah.
sent him flying to the surface of the moon. I don't even think they explain it as to how it was that
No.
he did it.
No, he's just busy.
Yeah, he's just
No,
there.
no, no.
Like the comic picks
No,
up and he's just there.
It's off panel that it happens, but they explain that it was like a sonic blast. It was one of his weapons.
Oh, okay.
They say he used, but it was an off panel motion. Like they jump into the battle, like the battle begins, and they're like, and the first thing Nick Fury did was knock out the Hulk.
Yeah,
We're
well,
using
that's-
such and such,
That was
and
the smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
but yeah, like
Although
that was,
honestly, Hulk with zero gravity, I thought was going to be his weakness. I thought that was going to be his weakness.
Ah.
that, I mean, see,
I
that's-
can't get a.
It's like with Spider-Man. Spider-Man's just floating in space.
Yeah,
That's
he's
why
like,
I said
guys,
that, man.
Guys.
It'll explain when he gets back. He's just stuck in space.
Yeah, that's why I said that. I was like, okay, like if there were ever any evidence that Spider-Man sucks, like this is it. Like you have heroes fighting and Spider-Man's just floating out into space. There's
He's
nothing
full
for him to
face
shoot his
underneath.
webbing onto.
Exactly.
Yeah, he can't. I mean, unless he shoots his webbing onto an asteroid and slingshots himself back to the surface of the moon, he's never going to get back there.
They made no attempt to explain any of that or like
Yeah.
why he was even there in the first place, except like to say that Spider-Man was in the story.
Yeah.
But it played no role. He didn't do anything. He didn't say anything. He caught the eyes, and then we don't even see how he gives them to whoever.
Right.
Isn't he in the Spider-Verse stuff now too?
Yeah.
Oh, there's
No,
I thought he
do you
was.
mean- no. Peter Parker Spider-Man is not involved in it. He won't be involved until Amazing Spider-Man 9. They
Yeah.
stated.
Well, shit.
Every
That's fine, 'cause I
other
don't read
Spider-Man
anymore.
in existence is doing their own thing, but Peter Parker Spider-Man is basically just banging Silk right now.
Yeah.
well trying to anyway. I mean, it's
No, I'm
okay,
quite
we,
sure that
we
that's
all
what I'm
know.
saying.
You went to the ceiling. What do you think was going on?
Yeah.
The only problem I have with the whole they're so attracted to each other because they're Spider-Man thing on a tangent little thing here
Yeah.
is he's doing this in front of the girl who a week ago was going to marry him, and regardless of him having a different personality, it's still Peter Parker. So, in my opinion, Peter Parker of all people would be the last guy to just show no emotion to Anne Marie's kind of plight with this whole
it's
thing.
very weird. Like,
And I know she's kind of pushed it off, and they just kind of said like, "Oh, you're not Doc Ock. Well, then I don't love you anymore."
right?
But it just seems too comic convenient for me.
It's very like there's too many things going on. I'll be the first to admit, like, I don't think Slott is really like doing a great job with the current run right now. Like, Amazing Spider-Man #1 was not really that interesting. It was
it
not
really
a great jumping on point. It was not a great #1. Silk is not interesting enough to be worth being a character, and it's like
She might be when she works as Spider-Woman.
Why? Like, well, because she was bit by the spider, so she has spider powers. Like, they're totally different characters. They have nothing to do with each other. Like,
You know what would have been more interesting though? Instead of Silk, is his original sin was Gwen Stacy didn't die. She slipped into the multiverse, and that's that other Gwen Stacy. She
Oh,
lost
God.
all of her memories. She has a whole new life, and he needs to get her back. And he pulls her back into this universe, and we have that Gwen Stacy who thinks Peter Parker's dead, but in fact, it's the real Gwen Stacy from our universe who's had her thoughts merged with the other one, and now she's upset with Peter Parker because he pulled her out of her universe, and it would be just an amazing little subplot about Gwen Stacy, Supergirl, and everything.
that,
Wow.
yeah, that's
Benny-
Supergirl.
Dude,
That
if that
Yeah.
happened, man, people would storm Marvel HQ and
That would be the
just
most
Yeah.
burn
amazing.
it down.
Have you not read Gwen Stacy Spider-Woman?
I have no interest in reading any of the Ultimate
Dude,
Comic
it is
characters.
so good.
fantastic book.
It is
Really?
so good. They need to make just a spin-off about her.
I'm not
What
a big
needs to
fan of like the
be-
Spider-Man characters and all. Like, I'm just not a huge fan of the Spider-Verse. Just not
Gwen
my thing.
Stacy Spider-Woman needs to be a like original graphic novel series, like Earth One, or I'm sorry, yeah, like Earth One
X.
Batman, like Earth One Superman, like. Sorry, just take the character, put him over there, and like do original stories with that like art and writer team. Because like she'd be cool in the Spider-Verse event. I think that people have spoken and they really like, are they going to keep the character and use them in other things? But like, I don't necessarily want to see that awesome character like ruined by being shoehorned into the 616.
No. Honestly, now that we've established her and she's not being pulled in, I would like to just see an ongoing series about her.
Yeah.
Because, and here's what I found odd. I've been reading Edge of Spider-Verse, and it's almost like they planned this as a backdoor pilot. Like, almost like every issue is a backdoor pilot.
Every issue is a pilot. Yeah, absolutely.
Because what they're doing is they establish the world.
Yep.
The Gwen Stacy issue is all about her history, what's going on, how the world perceives her, what her father's doing. It ends on a big cliffhanger about her father finding out, and it's like, and then they're like, and now you're in the Spider-Verse. Let's
That's
go.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. And it's like, it's a great series. The first issue is like just, here's Spider-Man Noir, here's where he was since the last time we saw him, and here's where it winds up. They do directly tie it in with Spider-Verse, so like you actually like see him join the Spider Army, but like
The Gwen Stacy is literally an amazing first issue of
Oh, yeah.
Gwen Stacy Spider-Woman.
oh
And then at the very I think it's the last two panels, isn't it? Well, they're just like, oh, by the way, here's Britain Spider-Man. Here's
literally the last panel, yeah, Union Jack Spider-Man is like, ooh, and you're like,
Hold on,
first
Union-
of all, you weren't in any of the other issues.
Exactly.
Hold on. So is Union Jack like? Is he actually Spider-Man now, or are you just saying like the British version of
No,
Spider-Man?
it's
like,
British Spider-Man. Like it's
Oh,
Spider-Man,
okay.
but like the spider, like instead of it being red, white, and blue like America, it's red, white, and blue like like Britain.
But and you're right about that too, because Doc Ock Spider-Man has been the one who's been recruiting everyone, and now out of the blue, it's like, oh, by the way, Union Jack Spider-Man's got this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought they turned Union Jack into Spider-Man. I was like, really?
To continue on this tangent for a minute, did anybody read the actual second issue of Edge of Spider-Verse?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, the actual second issue really establishes a lot of Morlun, and I actually started to like him as a character.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean,
they
is
established
it worth going back and reading?
Wait,
Yeah.
wishes? Wait,
Oh, okay.
wait, wishes? Were you talking about?
the actual, because there's the Edge of Spider-Verse tie-ins,
Yeah.
and then there's the actual Edge of Spider-Verse story.
Oh.
And there's an issue where the whole issue is basically, first off, Superior Spider-Man realizing that he's going to have to kill somebody. So he goes like in a whole coup of, oh, I'm going to take Assassin Spider-Man and the Spider-Woman who is like Hawkeye's daughter or something like that. And since we're all willing to kill people, we need to go do what we're doing,
Right.
and also the crap, which is cool. But then they go into Morlun and they explain his actual history of his family and the reason why they're going through killing the spider totems and how he betrayed his family and he's cursed to keep doing this until he can find a way to get back home. And it's like a
Yeah.
whole thing. And I'm like, this actually was not bad. Like he killed like the spider god. That's how it all started.
Oh, okay.
But he
That's
did it after letting the spider god kill his father. So
Oh.
his family has exiled him to go constantly kill spider totems until they decide to let him come home.
Okay.
See, that doesn't sound wildly interesting to me.
No.
No, but what they do is what you end up doing is you find out it's interact with his family and like they run into the family and like so then like the Spider-Men are winning, but then we have like a ton of these Morlun family members now,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, he can't take out all of them. What the heck is this?
This sounds a lot like that Grim Hunt story with like the friggin' Cravens.
Oh,
God.
yeah, very similar. Yeah.
And it sounds to me like somebody is trying to pull a Grant Morrison to me. Like, if you wanted to do like a story about like, yeah, it sounds like it's more Grant Morrison than Slott or Christoph Yost.
Are they writing Edge of Spider-Verse?
Who?
Slot. I didn't think he was.
Slott's like a story consultant, but I think either Christos Gage or Chris Yost is doing it. It's one of the two.
I'm looking. Yeah, Slot's not even mentioned on here.
Yeah. Anyway,
He's not on the book.
Like, I always try to steer clear of Spider-Man comics, to be honest, because Spider-Man, sure, he's the face of Marvel and he's interesting, but or relatively interesting, I guess, if you're a big Spider-Man fan. But for me, I was just never really a fan of Spider-Man. He's a guy that
I've always
swings
liked him.
from building to building, shooting webbing out of his hands, and he can crawl up walls.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
I
actually a
mean,
huge fan of him, and I went through my channel the other day, and I'm like, why have I done almost no Spider-Man? Like,
Yeah.
where's Spider-Man? I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man, and I've done like no Spider-Man.
You better
He's
get on
even
that,
in
man.
my intros.
Yeah.
No, here's the funny thing. I have a Marvel intro and a DC intro. Spider-Man's on the Marvel intro.
Yeah, he is. Well, he's standing right there, like the front of the, like just like that main one right there, like the front.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
that's
the
what I mean.
main
Like,
one.
and I don't do nothing with them. So I downloaded a bunch of stuff. I went through because Comixology's doing some kind of weird sales. I got a whole bunch of Spider-Man books.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
I love Spider-Man. He's like one of my favorite characters. He's the guy who got me into it in the first place. And I try not to do too many Spider-Man books on the channel just because I don't want to be the Spider-Man guy. Like, I want to do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the one that I know everything about. Like, I know,
I can tell.
I know
My
enough,
only
but yeah.
My only complaint with Spider-Man is he has a tendency to rehash the same plot line every few years.
Well, I mean, like, they
Pretty
always
much
do the whole, like, he quits and he's sad and then he has to come back, or, like, Aunt May's in trouble.
Every other superhero hates him, or he's being ousted by J. Jonah Jameson for something.
Yeah.
It's a lot of rehashing. He's a great
I mean,
character, but they need
the-
to do more.
The most recent, sometimes it's fun where you're like, ooh, like, that's a cool use of the character, or, like, a cool trope reference where, like, you have a moment where at the end of Original Sin tie-in number 3, which isn't really a tie-in, the most recent issue of Spider-Man, where, like, J. Jonah Jameson is like, I will unmask Spider-Man, and you're like, that's something that you don't necessarily have seen before, but, like, you feel like you've seen it 1,000 times,
Right.
Yeah.
and, like, but they really played with it, and that was really cool.
Well, okay, I do want to, because if Rob hasn't read it, I gotta say, because you always, that's kind of like an ongoing thing. I'm gonna unmask Spider-Man, I'm gonna unmask Spider-Man, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And the way they opened the next issue was just hilarious.
Yeah.
It's not a huge spoiler because it was a standard cliffhanger, but they open it with they did unmask Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and the whole world would have known his secret, but J. Jonah Jameson was standing in front of him and the camera, so nobody saw
wow.
Spider-Man's face.
He was too
And
busy
Silk
grandstanding, and he missed
Yep, and Silk comes over, webs up his head so nobody can see it, and they leave.
Wow.
So great.
I was
moment.
like, this is the greatest thing ever. And it was the best moment was J. Jonah Jameson. Like, he's like, did you get it? We finally did it. And
Yeah.
they're just like, you were in the way.
Yeah.
they,
He's like, no.
they even did like a classic moment where they went to like all of Spider-Man's family. Like it was Anne Marie and it was Aunt May, and they were all doing like
Yep,
oh
and
my
they're like,
god!
I can't
And then they pan around and then we go back to them all and they all say, get out of the way, J. Jonah Jameson!
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Yeah.
The only thing that would have made it more great is if somehow Peter Parker was the reason that JJ was in the way, so he could blame Parker.
Yeah.
Parker, but you don't get that. But it doesn't like
For some weird reason.
It's fine.
Real quick, Michael King says every hero rehashes the storylines every 5, 10, 15 years. And I
Yeah, I
agree
saw
with you,
that.
but for some reason, I just feel like Spider-Man rehashes it more often than others.
Well,
Yeah,
it's,
well, it depends on what you're talking about. Like with the X-Men, they just have an on-running theme they've always had. Like, well, with the
Yes.
X-Men, people are oppressing mutants. Let's try to fight that, but be peaceful about it, and let's not be assholes. Like that's kind of like the way the X-Men do stuff. Except every once in a while, like Cyclops just loses his shit and just goes
Right.
off and does something crazy. But
Like,
yeah, like kills people. But
like
but
his
no,
mentor.
yeah, well, that's the role that like groups like that play, and so it makes sense to me that you expect to see different storylines with the X-Men rehashing all the time. Like one of the groups that I want to see come back with the X-Men. I don't know if you remember this or not, Sal. Is Friends of Humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I really want to see Friends of Humanity come back because
Yeah.
they were like a great they were like the KKK for mutants.
They were like the Phelps family of the Marvel
Yeah,
Universe.
they were,
Really-
man. They, were,
That would be a killer story. Is
they
like
would be, man.
is taking the Friends of Humanity and making them into like, and you could retcon it in where like they're actually like a family.
Yeah.
And like they have a compound, or they go like they picket superhero funerals, like they've always been there. Like you could even argue like the last time they were there was like at Bill Foster's funeral from Civil War, like they picketed it.
Yeah.
Like you could really do a great allegory with the Friends of Humanity, and they're just like, like that's a great foil for the X-Men, and like I like it. I would like it better if they weren't like. If they didn't have weapons and if they didn't have like, you know what I mean? If they were just like
Yeah.
using the power of like so many of the members of the family are lawyers, so they know what they can and cannot do and get away with.
Yeah, and it got really dark on my camera.
I was gonna say,
Oh,
Rob,
You're like, yeah.
you're getting much darker than usual today.
But yeah, I'm slinking away in the shadows. There we go. The sun's coming back out.
Better.
It's getting brighter again.
Yeah, I
Brighter.
think I can adjust the
But,
window, so I'm gonna go away for a second.
Rob doesn't
okay.
have any lights in his apartment.
I
No,
do.
apparently
It's just,
not.
like the sun, like my window's like right there, like it's right next to me, and so like the sun shines in, and it's like darkness. But
So,
but
so,
anyway,
we're on a crazy tangent, so if you want to end it, that's fine. But I was gonna
yeah,
pull
yeah,
us back to
yeah,
Thor.
yeah. So you know, as
Oh,
far
yeah,
as a
Thor.
whole, as far as a whole
Oh, yeah,
Friends
Thor.
of Humanity thing, yeah, the Friends of Humanity thing doesn't need to be like a great big series. I don't need to see like 4 or 5 different comics. It can be like a one shot,
no.
or like
No,
a,
it just needs to be like one story arc
Yeah.
where like they're
like a
problem.
graphic novel or something like that.
Yeah.
So okay, I don't even know who the Friends of Humanity are.
The
Until you do a video about
Humanity
Madcap, I don't care.
The Friends of Humanity were like a terrorist group, more or less, in Marvel back in the day.
Yep.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. So, okay. Well, anyway, I mean, to get back on the original sin and the whole crazy direction of Spider-Man and stuff,
Yep.
we don't know the answer to Thor. We've all got our theories, and I guess I honestly hope that they reveal this early on in the new Thor series.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that they were going to drag it out like crazy.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like maybe Thor's going to be her mentor, and we're not going to know what the whole deal is, and we're going to see him over at Odin trying to learn how to use the battle axe, and we're just not going to find out what's going on, and it will get like 12 issues in, and the big reveal will come out or something, you know?
Yeah.
What was Thor's sin in that event that no one remembers from 12 months ago?
Yeah, I honestly don't even think they know. Like, I
You think
don't-
they're gonna wing it? Like that's why they're playing it this way?
I think they thought it'd be a cool notion. I think they were like, we're gonna make Thor into a girl, and they were like, okay, how? And they were like, well, we'll kill him. And then they went, well, I killed him twice already in the last 5 years. And they're like, oh, okay, well then we'll just depower him. And they're like, we can't do that because then like what about the Thor fans? Like we don't want to shove a new character that's like a replacement for the old character. Like that's why they didn't kill Steve Rogers again. They just made him old and still alive so that Falcon can take over as Cap, but then Steve Rogers can take back over as Cap later. Like
Right.
it's the same deal, but they're like, well, you know, meh, like
Meh.
meh, like
Meh.
meh is like my placeholder for like all the bullshit that like they're
Yeah.
going to use to argue their point. Because like, yeah, I think that they don't know or they have like an idea, but if it fits in with an event they're gonna do, like if like let's say Hickman pitches something really cool for like the third act of Axis, and they happen to make that work for establishing what Thor's like original sin is or whatever, they'll be like, there, we'll do it there. That's it. Like,
Like to be honest, if I can be honest here, like I don't think Marvel even knows what they want their original sin to be. I think that they threw that out there.
Yep.
And they're just waiting to see what people speculate, and they're just
I
going
mean,
to pick
like-
what they think is the best one.
yeah,
Rob,
They're gonna pick my idea. It's so much better than yours.
you went from being like in the
Wow.
Batcave to being illuminated like an angel.
yeah, you look like you were dead. Like
you
you
look
look
like
I'm
your
not-
god come down
Just like-
heaven
Oh my
to
god!
talk about Marvel Comics.
Well,
So okay, all right. So let's move to the next of our 3 topics that we
Yes.
planned for today.
All right, topic number 2.
I'm gonna let Sal pick what we're gonna discuss first. Wait, you know what? We're gonna do Gotham first.
All right.
We're gonna just,
Yeah,
no,
it's
hold on.
something that I can actually participate in.
No, and I have a reason for this because we universally agree, even though a lot of people liked it, we universally agree that it was a bad show.
Oh,
We're gonna pick it apart, and then we'll go into Agents season 2 and discuss why we liked that season.
yeah.
Right, Rob's in the Batcave again.
God, man, like this is such a pain in the ass. Like, I had to move to like a better
Rob. So real quick announcement I just want to make. We should have made it at the beginning, but we are all going to be at New York Comic Con, making appearances at Sal's store. And we're going to pop into probably a few other comic book stores like Midtown and Secret Stash. We're going to talk to the guys, try to work it out. And we're going to be walking around the show floor. Rob's giving away T-shirts. I'm giving away buttons because I'm cheap.
Yeah, I'm ordering like 10 T-shirts. I'm just gonna give away
Yeah.
to you guys.
Nice.
So, but if you find us over there, and you don't even have to come into New York Comic Con, because we'll probably arrange a meeting outside for people who couldn't purchase tickets. So if
Yeah.
you're just in the New York area, we can all kind of meet up. We're trying to find like a restaurant in the area or something. So that way, if no one shows up, we're all just gonna get beer and burgers. But
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like
but
I think
it's
that'd
just
be
it's
awesome.
just on that announcement. But what I am stating is when you guys when we meet up with Rob at New York Comic Con, I'm going to teach Rob how his web camera works.
I don't need help on how my webcam works.
And how audio works.
No.
Rob, we've been doing this for almost 5 months now, and every episode, it's a video issue or audio issue only on your end.
Well,
How many weeks
Hey.
did we go by that you would be the muted one, and then you would unmute yourself and mute us?
well, because I would just like I'd forget about my microphone. Is all it
Well,
was.
it's yeah.
I forget how the internet works.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I forgot how the internet works. I have no idea.
So, but let's discuss Gotham. Now, don't worry, Travia, we're not going to really spoil too much of this plot. It's a pilot, so there's nothing really to spoil. It's a lot of setup.
Right.
Is what it all is.
Yeah.
So,
All a bunch of crappy stuff.
I'm going to go on my rant first, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. So, I've been getting hammered because I'm refusing to do a Gotham episode because I know I'm going to tear it apart. Here is my complaint with Gotham. Who the F did this get made for? Because as a comic book fan, I'm watching it, picking up all the little cameos. Oh, a little Poison Ivy. Oh, Catwoman's running around and saw Bruce Wayne's parents get shot. Oh, that funny guy might be the Joker. Oh, it's the Penguin. It like a whole bunch of cameos, which I hate because it's all poor representations of characters. This isn't even like an Arrow universe where it's close. We have a few quips, but we're close to it, you know? This is completely horrendously off. This is young Bruce Wayne trying to stand on top of a building to conquer his fear at 10. This is like Bruce Wayne as a child woke up after his parents got shot and be like, I'm gonna be Batman. I just don't know what to call it yet. Like, it's so freaking retarded. And to top it all off, and this is one of my biggest complaints about the whole thing, they tried to go for like the 1930s Gotham appeal, like the appearance of it, with like the blimps and everything from the old show that we all know. And you'll recognize this when they go into the police station, because the police station is rigged up like a 1920s police station. Like the cell is one big cage in the middle of the detective's office area.
Yeah.
All of the police officers have a desk in one hallway, and then you have a guy at the end of the hallway shouting out orders to everyone. It's retarded.
Yeah.
Okay, that scene I had a big problem with because it wasn't realistic. It was like the Gotham Police Department took over like an old church.
Yeah, it
and
was.
They were like, it's not even like, okay, these guys are corrupt because they take money like and bribes and stuff. It was like these police officers are evil.
Right.
Like they're way over the top. They're like, this guy's like, I didn't do anything. What did I do? I need my medicine. Then they just start beating the shit out of them.
Yeah,
Like,
it was. You know,
It was totally in an inappropriate place, and I get that they're trying to establish that before Batman, crime went down the toilet in Gotham, but we're talking like 8 to 10 years before Batman's supposed to be here.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a city that is so bad that the cops won't let a man have his medication, whether it be real medication or drugs or whatever. No one even said, what is your medication? It was never established if this is a drug medication or really aspirin, you know?
Well, that's like kind of like a rip from the headlines kind of thing, because recently like the cops like in some city beat some poor man like who was having like a diabetic response like to death and shit. Like they're trying to like make it socially relevant and kind of like topical by like showing you something that like kind of happened in real life in this show where nothing is real. But like you're on point, Benny, when it comes to like this show being not spectacular.
And I'm all for if we're gonna go for a full-blown make Gotham unique and make it look like the one that we're all used to in the cartoon or the movies. But the moment they leave the police station, it's like they jumped in time to 2010.
Oh yeah.
The rest of the city looks normal. Like who designed that police station? So not only that, but then we establish all these crazy characters, all this crazy crap about stupidity, about how far Gotham's gone, how far Harvey Bullock is gone, how far all the villains have gone. We get Falcone in here, which doesn't make any sense to me because the way Falcone.
At least they're finally
Oh,
pronouncing
that
his,
drove me crazy.
at least they're finally pronouncing his name correct.
Yeah.
But his name is Falcone, people. It's the first time I've actually
Have you not seen the show?
Okay, I'm from the freaking East Coast. I am Italian. It's pronounced Falcone.
I'm sorry.
I
get it
like
wrong.
someone on that production team actually comes from the East Coast and is like, everyone in the movies pronounced it Falcone because everyone from the movies is freaking British. and doesn't know anything about Americans or the East Coast or Italians or Italian Americans or the mob. They like, Falcone in the movie is played by a Brit.
Yeah.
He's so awful.
He's so awful.
No. Oh
with his,
no.
with his
no, sir.
1930s like, don't come down here with your anger. Oh, like, oh
No.
my God, so horrible.
Okay,
This
so you
show
like
at least did-
Falcone.
It's Falcone, all right? It's Falcone. No, it's not. Falcone is what like a 1930s like,
It's Falcone.
yeah, Falcone. You're gonna go like up the river, but like people who know him, like
Courses.
okay, a perfect example of this is watch The Godfather. Everyone who like is in the family pronounces it Corleone,
Mhm.
and it's
Right.
the cops and the
Corleone.
out of touch senators that are like Corleone. Like
Yeah.
it's meant to show you outsiders and people who don't know anything about that culture.
Yeah.
Like, and how they don't even know how to pronounce it. So, there you go. It's a little thing just for you guys from the East Coast. It's
So we've all got our little rants on this
Yeah.
one. So,
at least the show got that much right.
well, I'm still not happy with it, but we'll go with that.
Oh no,
So-
I just mean like they pronounced Falcone right. Now I'm just waiting for them to pronounce Ra's al Ghul correctly, and we can finally get some.
Well, all right. Here was a problem with Gotham.
Well, no,
Like-
hold
like-
on, because I got to finish up with this real quick.
Oh
Hold
my
on, 'cause
God.
I'm not done with the rant. You guys keep jumping in. So anyway, the comic book side of it just pissed me off as a comic book reader.
Okay.
So halfway through the show, I decided, okay, let me change my focus, because just like I do with the TV shows, the movies, you sometimes have to establish this isn't what I wanted it to be for a comic book. I have to enjoy what they've given me. So I started like looking at it as a crime drama. You know, because I've watched Law and Order, I've watched CSI, I've watched all that stuff.
Yeah.
And as a crime drama, it could have been fine, but first off, we're all over the place. We at the 30-minute marker when they start really getting into everything, I
Yeah.
thought we were at the end of the episode, and that was like the plot for the season. It was like 20 minutes in. It was like he's already shown up. We've already established who everyone is. We've already established what the problem is. We've already killed Bruce Wayne's parents. We've already gone and solved the murder. Now we reopened the case. Now we've moved forward again. And I'm like, this is 20 minutes in. How fast-paced is this show gonna move? As a cop drama, you did none of the cop stuff properly at all.
No.
All you did was, Jim Gordon's against everybody. Why did I pull the 1930s accent?
Yeah, we were just doing it.
I thought like I did kind of the same thing because I was like, all right, they have all these crappy backstories set up for all these villains and stuff that it might be accurate, it might not. Not many people know about like when these villains were kids or whatever, but it seemed
No one
like a
knows, 'cause
really
no one cares.
really generic crime drama.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a good crime drama, and it wasn't a good comic book
No.
TV show.
And that's when
It
we get
was
back to
just
my original
mediocre.
complaints.
Yeah.
My complaint: who was this made for? Because as a comic book fan, I'm like, okay, so Poison Ivy as a little girl was beat by her dad. Established. We're probably going to revisit this 1,001 times in the season, but established. It's all I needed. We're done. I know why she became a villain.
Yep.
You know, and as a crime drama, I want to know more of what they're doing.
Yeah.
What processes led to them figuring out the murder? What processes led to them reopening cases and stuff? Where did all this go, and why are we just skipping by it to go to Jim Gordon's gonna stand against everybody? Like, what?
Yeah.
And they've established that the city is so evil that Jim Gordon's gonna be like a one-man army kind of a situation.
Yeah.
And
Rob is in the Batcave again.
I've been to the Batcave
You
for a
know-
while. I'm not editing any of my video settings. The hell with it. I need to get like a giant black curtain and just hang it up behind me.
Screw it.
here,
Shit, man, I've
here's
had
the
enough of this.
thing I didn't like about Harvey Bullock. Harvey Bullock, in how I've seen him in the past, I don't think he's in the comics much from what I've seen.
He's in the comics. It's
No,
just
he's in a lot. Yeah, he's
he's
in a lot.
he's been around
But-
for a while. It's a question of like which version you like. Like
Yeah.
sometimes he's kind of corrupt, and sometimes he's just more like on the line.
Yeah, well, my experience with him is in the animated series, and he's not really corrupt in that. He's just lazy. But
There's a couple there's a couple episodes like Bullet for Bullock where like we established like Bullock believes in law and order, but he also is like he's more like Batman in certain respects where he's like willing to break the law to get the greater good accomplished.
yeah,
Like he's willing to like let scumbags go because there's a bigger scumbag to take down. Like he's much
Yeah.
more like on the line. I like that version of Bullock because like he's a good guy. It's just that he's also, like you said, lazy, but he's also kind of like not. He's not an idiot. Like he's not a rube.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's
True.
the way they did it in the cartoon is he knows he's basically Batman if Batman was on the police force the way they've always
Well,
established
like
him.
he
Even
is
in the
Gotham.
TV show they do that.
Like
I mean,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. You go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say Bullock is Gotham. Like
Yeah.
Bullock is well-meaning and tries like and has a good heart, but also on the outside is rough and scary and like uninviting and like you have to see through the exterior in order to see the good and truth in the character / in the city. Like Bullock is a great microcosm for the city itself, and like he is kind of like if there were no Jim Gordon, if there were no black and whites, if there was no Jim Gordon or Batman, like Bullock is the best cop in Gotham because he knows how the city works and he knows what to do in order to get like the job done.
That makes a little more sense then.
I mean, in
They-
the show
they-
he's
they
not.
even
In the
did it
show
in the
he's
show.
like a I don't even know.
No, they did it in the show better. Because
Yeah.
the whole time he does. I mean, it's a pilot, so I don't feel like I'm spoiling too much because it's a pilot. I mean, nothing. It's just a lot of
Well,
open doors. But
We
the way
haven't
they,
seen a lot of character development either.
we haven't seen too much.
We
of-
haven't given it a chance. I'm gonna give it another couple episodes to see if it
I'm gonna watch
sways
this
me.
week because I'm making an announcement after we get to the end of this one, and all four of you guys. Will watch this.
I'm
But,
probably not going to watch it anymore. I mean, all right. I'm not an avid Batman
I have
reader.
nothing else to watch. There's not that many shows.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
I may, just for the sake of the fact that you guys will be talking about it, and I don't want to be left out of the conversation, but as a person that has never really read Batman in depth, like I sat down looking at Gotham and saying, okay, like, what is this show going to be like? Because I had a feeling they were going to go into it trying to basically make a TV version of Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Right.
That's,
And
that's what
so-
everyone was kind of assuming,
Yeah.
but without Batman, because they've always said there would be no
Well,
Batman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're trying to get that
It's
more
been-
like that more gritty, like serious, underhanded kind of like realistic, violent
Yeah.
Gotham City sort of element. And to a degree, they did. Well, the problem is that every single cliche that could have existed ever in any crime drama anywhere that's ever been made was in that show.
Yep.
And it was like you had the cops who were doing business with the criminals because they have to do that so they can catch the bigger guys. And then you've got,
Right.
well, we knew it was this bad guy all along. And it's like, well, this criminal was going to betray both cops in the end anyway. And it was like, I mean, all these different elements were all in there. And it was, to me,
It was every cop drama and movie and everything rolled
Yeah.
into one big hour pilot, and that's why I said the pacing was horrible. It
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
flew through all of that.
yeah.
I
it
mean,
was-
but okay, if you want to talk about pacing real quick, it opens up with Harvey hating Jim Gordon. We then move within 10 minutes to Harvey accepting Jim Gordon, and they've already moved past Harvey's trying to replace him. They've
Yeah.
already moved past that. We've now established that Harvey's going to have fun with the green guy because he doesn't understand that, you got to work with the mobsters a little and ignore
Yep.
some stuff. So he's going to have a little fun. So he says, like, go in the back and see them beat on somebody, try and arrest them. So Harvey's already having his fun. We then, within 20 minutes, roll over to now Harvey's not messing with them. Harvey's now saving Jim Gordon's life.
yeah.
And Harvey is, he's well-meaning. And from there, within 10 more minutes, we've now flipped to Harvey works for the bad guys.
Yep.
Like, the pacing is so quick. And, like, if every episode is like this, like, normally on a TV show, I'm great at multitasking, and I can put a TV show on this screen, and I will work on a video over here. It's how actually I keep up with so much stuff. Because I will literally multitask what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But with Gotham, I felt like I had to watch the whole thing because so much was crammed into that hour. I literally had to sit here and watch it because I started working on a video and I'm like, what did I miss? Why is Jim Gordon doing this now? Why are we looking for this? What happened here?
Well,
Yeah.
the budget. I mean, honestly, like the quality of the show just wasn't even that good. Like that was something that I would
No.
expect to see on what's that? What's the TV? What's the channel where Smallville came on and like with the Flash is going to be?
CW.
Yeah, that's,
WCW.
that's the kind of show I would expect to see on CW.
And
When Fox
Green
comes
Arrow
out-
is
Well,
better.
hold on.
And that
in
is on the
CW's
CW.
defense, as they've been gaining more and more popular shows, their budgets have obviously gone up.
Yes,
so
they
you
have,
need to,
but-
specify CW 4 years ago.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Is old school like season 1 of Smallville CW. That's
Yeah.
where I would have expected to see this show. When Fox comes out and says we're doing a drama, I expect high quality Fox budget money going into
Yeah.
this drama that's being made. I don't expect to make it look like somebody went out on a street corner and said, "Hey, how many of you guys want to be in a show?" And they took like an iPhone and recorded it. That's how it felt.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I
you
mean,
know,
they,
like,
you
Well-
look at like Fox pilots before, and like the shows we like from Fox when they first started looked like crap. Like
Yeah.
X-Files looked like crap for the first
Oh.
whole
oh
season.
god, yeah,
Millennium looked like crap for the first
One-
season. Like
One thing I have to say is I don't know if it was the camera they used or the person composing the shots, but all the composition seemed too close.
mm,
Like everything was too close. Like the first scene when they're in the alley is a great example where they've got the the Waynes on the ground and they're like investigating the crime scene with Gordon and like the first shot where they have the alley and they're supposed to be down the alley looking down the alley and it seemed too close. It seemed like they could have been farther down the alley. It would have had more meaning. It would have had more context for the scene, I guess. But no, it was just some random alley with a bunch of scraps and stuff all over the place. It didn't
Yeah.
really seem. And then they had some weird direction thing where they had a still shot and then they had like the panning shot and they had it was all over the place.
yeah.
But to reinforce what you're saying and what Rob said, this is on Fox. Fox
Yeah.
is the guys that did Law and Order and all the crime dramas and stuff, aren't they? Or is
Oh,
that,
Yep.
is that
Fox did
uh,
Fringe, and like no, the crime dramas are more like CBS, NBC.
NBC.
okay?
Yeah.
Well,
Law
but
and
even though
Order
that,
is-
I would have assumed Fox, knowing they're going up against Agents of Shield, which is everyone knew he's got a bigger budget this year.
Yeah.
Arrow, which is getting a bigger budget this year. The CW launching Flash, and NBC putting out Constantine. And you're already competing with things like Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, all this other crap.
Yeah.
That Fox would have been like, we got Batman. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as I understand it, like I don't even know if Fox were the ones who like produced the show. I thought it was just that the show was produced by whatever company, and then Fox like paid the most money to get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured that they would have just dumped money into
Rob,
it.
I don't know what you're doing to your screen here, but you're moving the mouse around on the screen there, like trying to pick everyone's nose. And then in the upper left-hand corner is your image, and it's like superimposing
No,
flashing.
that was where I was adjusting my image earlier, but I've since corrected that. But my
Yeah.
God, man,
Okay.
you know what? Stop giving me a hard time about how it looks, man.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we have a certain level of production and quality that should be going into our podcast that people would assume and expect from such high quality channels as yours, mine, and Sal's.
That is
now,
true.
if Dave was hosting this, we
Wow.
Wow.
You know what? I think I'm
love
just
his
going to
face.
go ahead and call it a day. And I think I'm just going to. I'm getting off of here. Peace.
I love Dave's face. And his face is just like, what?
No, see, I'm a tech guy, so I would know how to set up all of this.
Basically, you're telling Rob that next time you should be hosting this.
I mean.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow. Wow.
Fair enough.
Okay. I mean, all right. You know what? I mean, if that's how it's going to be, okay, fine.
So, okay.
Fine.
So, I mean, and that's what my big complaint is. On my channel, because I'm the DC guy, I got a lot of people who are leaving comments. They're going through a lot of my Marvel videos, and it's more in particular one guy. But he's like, oh, you didn't like Gotham, but you liked Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You're such a Marvel fanboy. I'm like, look, I love DC, but Gotham is a shit show.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
It's just not.
they
it's
could have
just
made
not
it
very
really good. Like,
They could have.
The
Like, I
show-
went in so disappointed. Like,
I don't-
I was disappointed when it finished.
Yeah.
I see them doing a half a season, and in all honesty, I really went into it hoping it was going to be good. I
Yeah.
want it to
Yeah.
be good because it's such a unique premise. I don't see how they can do this, but you do it.
Hold
Give
on.
me
Wait a minute.
drama.
Wait a minute. Did you just say a unique premise?
It
yes,
is.
yes,
Okay.
he did.
No. Okay, hold on. How would you feel? It's a unique premise. Okay, here's my argument of why it's a unique premise.
No.
No.
Premise.
Premise.
Not argument.
Premise. It's
Not
pronounced premise.
I don't care. It's premise.
It's
Anyway,
a unique premise.
the premise. So
Benny, I
the
love
re-
you, man.
I love the premise
Premise.
because it hasn't really been done before. Yeah, Agents of Shield.
Epitome of.
No.
Epitome.
It's simple as no one's really sat around and like Agents of Shield's idea is we're the Agents of Shield and we're dealing with the stuff that happens from the superheroes.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotham is what if there was no superhero? What kind of a universe would be created that we would need superheroes?
Well, it's like the premise
And-
is
Get.
it's like the point of the show is what won't it be great when Batman gets here?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
like
That's
not a
exactly
show I want to
what I'm
watch
expecting.
because
You
I
know-
want to watch a show with effing Batman in it.
No, that show would be great if it's 13 episodes, like a mini series, and it ends on the last episode with Batman stepping up.
I don't, but see, here's a problem. This is the inherent problem with me in the show Gotham. When we went into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we knew what the show was going to be about. We knew that we were not going to see any main stage superheroes here because the show wasn't about that. And everybody's in the chat talking about how you pronounce oh man.
We all make mistakes and whatever. Okay, just for the record, and you guys can all vouch for this. Whenever you get a mispronunciation in your head for certain words or whatever, and you just say it a bunch of times, it just sticks, right?
Oh, yeah.
If
Yeah.
you get it right finally, and you're like, oh, the premise, and then like you're just in a discussion, you're talking, you're like, oh, the
It'll
premise.
come out.
The
Yeah.
premise. But no, like we went into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. knowing we were not going to see Captain America. We were not going to see Thor.
Right.
We're probably not going to see Iron Man because it's not about that. It's about the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, on like the ground level. So we knew we were going to see some superheroes or some supervillains, but they were going to be small time people that just weren't getting top billing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
The issue here with with Gotham is
You were reading
I
the
saw that
chat.
comment too. Don't worry, I saw that comment too.
Yeah. I saw.
You're reading the chat while you were talking.
I was. But the issue here with Gotham is I was expecting to go into this show with a high budget thing because you've got everybody coming off the heels of Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises. They're building up to Batman and Superman. I figured Fox was going to go into this saying, this has got to be big. Like, we need big people in this show. Like, we need big names in this show. I can't tell you half. The only name I can tell you of anybody in there is Jada Pinkett Smith. That's
Yeah.
it. I don't
She's
know the
the biggest
name
one.
of anybody else in that
No,
show.
there's
wait.
you got
Harvey
Grounded for
Bullock.
Life.
Yeah, Harvey
Whatever
Bullock
his
is
name
kind of
is.
I don't know what
I
his
don't-
name
yeah,
is.
I mean, I don't know.
And Jim Gordon is the guy from the OC. I don't know his name either.
So
It just seemed to me like Fox went in
Did
here and
nobody
dropped
else
the ball
watch the
on this
OC?
one.
We're gonna pretend it didn't say
No.
that.
I don't watch it.
the issue I have more than the budget is the story. Like, what
just-
they needed to do, and it's too late to do this, is do it like when Bruce Wayne is like 12 or like a teenager, so that some of his villains are grown up enough to start committing crimes.
Well, no, it's not even
And
that
then-
big. It's with the premise that they're rolling with on this whole thing
Premise.
is the whole idea. And to go with what you said on that, you're right. There needs to be a time jump or something because
Yeah.
where we are in the show, this is not going to last 2, 3, 4 seasons. I don't see this idea going past 13 episodes. We need to be farther along where Batman's not here, but we could have cameos and clips
Right.
of Bruce Wayne training. You know, maybe Jim Gordon is trying to solve a crime but that's something that Catwoman stole when she was older, and he can't figure out the thing, but a 15-year-old Bruce Wayne walks in and just kind of drops like a hint of what he found out, you know?
Yeah.
And that's all we get. That's all we get from Bruce Wayne. He just shows up and you're like, oh, what's Bruce Wayne here? Oh, he's Bruce Wayne. He's rich. We don't stop him from walking on crime scenes, you know? And he just kind of finds something, walks over to Jim, and he's just like, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
And he just leaves. And you're like, that's Batman training. That's awesome.
That's why the show
Well-
needs like top writing, because if you're not going
Yeah.
to have Batman running around and beating people up, then you have to offset that lack of action with some damn good writing, some really good
Just
dialogue.
make the show year one, but pre-year one. You just make it like you take all the Jim Gordon stuff from year one, and you make that the show, and you stagger Batman's arrival to later. Like, that's the show. You don't
It's too
do...
far back. It's just too far back. You
It's too
cannot
far
do-
back. You can't.
Well-
They wanted to have their cake and eat it too. They wanted to show Bruce Wayne's parents get killed, and they wanted to have like this element of like Jim Gordon being there when Bruce Wayne's kids was established as like the tormented youth, like, and they don't have enough there. Like, the fact is, the Batman universe is the Batman universe because effing Batman's in it, and
Right.
Yeah.
it's not interesting without
Yes.
him.
Dude, you guys probably don't even know this, but they tried a comic series about the police force of Gotham,
Yeah,
and it
people like
do
that
well.
People like
Well-
that comic though. That's a good comic. The GCPD comic was really cool.
But it
I don't
didn't.
know.
But it was so niche that it didn't last.
Oh yeah. Well, who's gonna read a crime comic like without Batman in it?
So, I don't know if either of you guys. I know Rob hasn't because he hasn't read a single thing of Batman, but I don't
No.
know if you guys read No Man's Land
Yeah.
at all, where
It's
where
awesome.
Gotham experienced that earthquake, and
Oh,
like
okay. Yeah.
I think it was like I have the graphic novel, so I'm not sure about like issues or anything, but between like book 1 and 2, when Jim Gordon formed the GCPD gang and was
Yeah.
like trying to take back Gotham, like
That was
that's
cool.
kind of what I want this show to become.
Yeah.
In a way, like Gotham needs to be in chaos once Bruce Wayne becomes a teenager, but I kind of feel like the setup they went for with this was early enough to where they were almost going for like this is going to be a Smallville for Batman.
Right.
And it's too early
Well,
and
it
there's
is.
not going to be any Batman around.
And here's another problem with it, though. We know Jim Gordon's not going to fix anything
Yeah.
because Batman has to arrive.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
not going to be a happy resolution. Jim Gordon's not going to correct everything
No.
unless they're going to go the route of Jim Gordon does fix everything, and then it all goes to hell again. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like
he goes on
well,
vacation for a week.
we know they're not reading the comics, and here's why. Like we know because like if they were reading the comics, if they were establishing this, if they were like laying the groundwork for stuff, all they need to do is just make it so they need to have no colorful characters whatsoever. It needs to be a straight up crime drama where Gordon is taking on the mob. That's the show. And the show ends and like you either end it on like the transitional period where like you're either ending the show or you're ending the season and then gonna put Batman in it where the mob is taken down and there's a power/crime vacuum in which the freaks, as Jeff Loeb in The Long Halloween established, start to occupy that space. It's that like Gotham will always be full of crime, and it used to be a mob town. And then later, when they actually solve that problem, it's replaced by the colorful freaks, by the Two-Face and Jokers and Catwomans and shit. Like, you can't have both. You have to have one occupy the other's space so that
Right.
thematically works for Batman. Because Batman will not, like, Batman fights the mob, sure, but it's way more fun to watch Batman fight the Penguin. And so that's where it thematically works best. So, like, you can't have the Penguin be like, like he's got a limp and he's gonna come back, and you're like,
Oh yeah. What did you think of that whole thing where he got out of the water and he's like bluish and he's limping?
Yeah.
and like,
I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess we know who the Penguin is supposed to be. Like, there was
I mean,
no...
like, we don't. Who cares about the Penguin?
That
Like,
was my thought exactly. Like, I don't care about this guy. Like,
No,
he
I mean,
was
like-
a snitch and they tried to kill him and it didn't work.
I mean, maybe they like that. Maybe they're like, yay! Like he doesn't like nobody cares about the Penguin, so we could do whatever we want. We can make him really cool. Because the people had the same reaction in Batman: Arkham City when they put the Penguin in there, and people were like, "Whoa, Penguin's cool." He wasn't, but like
Well-
people thought he was, and like,
And
you know,
he killed a dude for a sandwich.
yeah,
Yeah.
After
he killed
like,
that guy.
Like this is the thing, like all right,
I want
it's
turkey!
obviously outside. Yeah, it's obviously outside of Gotham. For one thing, if you're that guy who sees the guy like frozen to death crawling out of the water, are you not gonna give him your sandwich?
I mean, like he was
Like-
gonna like it's just
Dude,
the
it's the
Penguin didn't give him any
Penguin.
time.
Kingwin.
Yeah.
It's the Kingwin. It's the Kingwin.
I mean,
Yeah,
here's the problem. All right, here's the problem. Tell me, who's the main star of Gotham?
Gordon.
It's Jim Gordon.
Gordon.
Yeah.
Are you sure it's Jim Gordon? Because we saw
Yeah,
just
supposed
as
to
much
be.
screen time
Well-
with Jim Gordon's partner, Harvey Bullock, and we saw
Yeah,
just
well-
as much screen time with the guy that becomes a penguin, and we saw just as much screen time with Jada Pinkett Smith. So tell me, who's the main star of the show? And that's the
I
problem.
think
Supposed to
it's
be about
gonna be
Gordon.
like a
It is.
partner cop kind of drama.
But
so
the
it's
issue-
probably
the
gonna
issue
be
that you have here is that-
Harvey and
if you don't have like a main star, if you don't have like the one person that nobody knows who to root for, like nobody knows who to say, I should support this guy. They're just kind of like, well, I kind of like that person, but I like that person. But there's no main narrative. There's no main
No.
focus there. People are just
Yeah.
like, well, maybe this episode will focus on Jada Pinkett Smith's character, and then maybe this episode will focus on Harvey Bullock. I don't care about Harvey Bullock. He's a crooked cop. Okay, whatever. He's got his problems, and maybe he's down on his luck. I don't know what his deal is, but there was nothing in this episode that gave me any reason to care about any of the characters in the TV show. Like it felt like Jim Gordon's character was a ripoff on Brad Pitt from Seven. It felt like Harvey Bullock was just like some kind of drunk guy who was not able to really get his life together. But I don't know enough about his character that I can care. Jada Pinkett Smith is obviously like some kind of a chick that's trying to take over Falcone's operation. But again, I don't know how she Falcone. I don't know how she got to where she was. I don't know how she got to that position. So what does it matter to me if she wants to move up? You've got the guy who's going to be the Penguin. I mean, I don't know. It's just.
I have two endpoints on this. Oh, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
Well, I have to kind of wonder, like, who or what, I guess, the other people outside of comic book fans think of the show. Because, like,
silly.
Actually, if you guys have been reading the reviews, Gotham has been getting good reviews from people who aren't comic book fans. They like the drama of it's a cop drama about a really corrupt cop force in a corrupt city, and it's getting good reviews. So I do want to go on two questions. First off, is it just me, or is every time we have a crooked cop, he's always got a hat, long hair, and a crazy beard like you would never see in a cop? And if I ever do see a cop like that, I'm going to think crooked cop.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it just do they always need to do that? Can we just have like a clean cut looking cop? Like
Yeah. There's
and
no
I
clean
want to
cut
know
crooked
this.
cops.
yeah, it's like that's what establishes Harvey's a crooked cop. Look at how much hair he has.
I want to know this. Why in every chase scene in a cop drama or like an action scene involving cops chasing a villain or a criminal, do we see them going through a kitchen? It happens in every single
That's a good
cop
question.
drama.
A restaurant kitchen, yes.
And my friends explained it to me. They said it's because kitchens always have to have a back door.
Right.
But there's other places where they could obviously go in
Just
a
run through
chase
an empty
scene.
warehouse.
I think it's also because there's a lot of stuff in a kitchen, and so when you're running, you're like knocking things over, and it's much more
God!
looking.
The cops let me throw the food everywhere.
Yeah.
But like the whole reason why they even do chase scenes anyway is because movement gives the illusion that the story is moving forward. And so, like, if they're chasing after them, well, it means that, like, the story's moving forward, when in reality, like, there's no difference between the fact that they met him and the fact that they're interrogating him. It's just a way to fill time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's as a person that never really read DC Comics and never really got into Batman, like, I'm very picky, and I have pretty high standards when it comes to the quality of the stuff that I watch. And this show didn't really do anything for me. I could go the rest of the show's existence not watching it, and it wouldn't really matter to me that much. But due to the nature of this podcast, the nature of our channels, I'll stick with it and see what's up.
Well, let me ask you this on a closing point on the whole Gotham thing, okay? Because I did that with Arrow. Arrow launched, I watched an episode or two, and I said, screw it. I came back later. So let me ask you this. Let's assume they fix everything with Gotham, they don't abandon it, and it moves forward, and it goes 3 or 4 seasons. Do you think that they are going to do what Smallville did, which was Smallville did the excuse of we're never going to have Superman, we're never going to have superheroes, we're never going to have tights. And by season 4 and 5, we suddenly had the Arrow, we had Aquaman, the Flash, everyone putting on suits. They were all kind of going in the direction. We had Martian Manhunter. Everything started going in the direction of the Justice League and all the other crap.
Yeah.
Do you foresee Gotham, if it makes it, if it keeps going, if they fix our complaints about it, the show gets good or the plot gets intense, and they eventually start time jumping or bringing Batman into the picture more? Do you see that happening? Or do you see them just continuing on with Bruce Wayne's a child up on the hill?
That's how I see it going. I see it getting canceled halfway through the season.
It's going to get canceled. It's going to get canceled in the next, they might give it a whole season, but I doubt it.
Yeah. It'll get canceled. I don't think
It's
it'll make it that
definitely
far.
not
They
going
wanted
to get
to-
renewed.
They said that they are open to crossovers, by the way.
It's like...
Yeah, well, yeah, but so is Constantine, but CW is also like, we don't own you, go away.
Why would I help you, says CW. Like, why would
Never
I...
mind the fact that because of what Gotham's done, they can't cross over. Arrow cannot be 40 by the time Batman's 18.
Yeah, no.
Barry Allen cannot be 35 by the time that Batman gets to 18.
Well, that was my argument with Smallville back in the day, like, because it was set today, but Superman's coming, like, Superman will become Superman someday, and I'm like, Superman's gonna be Superman in, like, 2039? Like, we're gonna have robots that'll do all the Superman stuff. Like, there's no reason to worry about Superman. Like, it'll be so weird. And it was.
The only thing that bothered... I liked Smallville, I did, all the way up to the ending. The only thing that bothered me about Smallville is once we crossed the threshold and we basically had the Justice League and we had Green Arrow in a costume, we had Aquaman in a costume, we had Flash in a costume, we had Martian Manhunter in a costume, and
Yeah.
Clark's still like, check out my hoodie and jeans.
Yeah.
Just get a fucking costume.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about.
I don't know. I think that these that's the problem you have when you have stories like Gotham. The potential is amazing. The potential for what could have done, like if they had actually had great writers. Let's say, for example, that they took, what was his name? The guy that wrote for House, MD, when that was on Fox. Let's say that they grabbed him and brought
I mean,
him.
the first 5 seasons, not the last 5, right?
Yeah,
Where House
yeah.
went crazy,
Yeah,
was
like-
crashing cars into buildings and
Yeah, the
faked
first
his own
5
death like
seasons
Sherlock
were the
Holmes.
best one.
Okay.
Yeah, it should have ended. It should have ended with season 5, where you got checked into the clinic or whatever it was.
Asylum.
Yeah, that should have been
No,
it. But
the season where he cleaned up and then his team moved on should have been the end. The
That's
seasons
true.
afterwards, where he hired more people, then got addicted to drugs again, then everything slipped right back to where it was. It was like,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
David Foster, I think is who it was, and Bryan Singer had actually produced a few episodes of it. But nonetheless, if they had brought like David Foster in, or they had brought somebody in to like write the episodes of Gotham, it could have been a fantastic TV show.
Yeah.
Because it would have great drama, it would have great appeal. Hell, even consult Dick Wolf. The guy had Law and Order, which
Yeah.
ran for like 26 years. Yeah, like the guy.
I thought they ended at 21 or something.
Maybe it's 21. Like it's nonetheless, it'd been going on for a couple decades. So the guy knows how to make a good show.
Yeah.
And so there were a lot of different people they could have consulted, and instead they did whatever it was that they did, and the result
Yeah.
is this just kind of like meh, whatever. Like
And what do you guys think they need to do to turn it around?
they need to get
Like
good
what-
writers, like better writers.
no,
than what they have
not
now.
only that, but what do they need to do with the story? Because obviously the story, how it's running now, I mean, if they get good writers, they might be able to salvage a little bit of it, but not like telling a story that anybody that's a comic book fan cares about.
Well, all right. Here's one of the
Real
reasons
quick,
why.
Law and Order went for 20 years, but
20
Simpsons
years.
is on its 26th season.
26.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, like totally off topic. Did you guys catch that binge that season that they did for The Simpsons? They showed
Oh.
500 episodes every for like 2 weeks
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that. It was amazing. Like,
Yeah.
but no. All right. So here's what I would do with Gotham. One, you got to establish who the story revolves around. That's obviously Jim Gordon. All right. Harvey Bullock does not need to be a main character. Harvey Bullock can like
No, he-
appear or.
You could make him this
I
like
could do
his
it. Yeah, I
Okay,
like
okay,
him.
okay, fine. So then a buddy cop
Harvey
team up
Bullock's
kind
a
of thing.
supporting
Can-
character
can-
Yeah,
that
he's a
needs to be
supporting
focused
character.
on every
You
once
need
in a
Harvey
while.
Bullock to counter Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
because Gordon
Okay.
is going to be he's too goody goody. Harvey Bullock needs to be the guy that goes, look, we have to go kill these people because it makes more sense this way. You
Okay.
need to have the devil on the shoulder.
Casting Jada Pinkett Smith to play whatever role that she played is a bad idea. And the reason why is because she's a big name. She's not big, huge big, but the wife of Will Smith, she's been in enough stuff, she's produced enough stuff. She's like, people know who she is. And so when you cast a show and you have Jada Pinkett Smith, people expect to see her in there a pretty good amount of time.
Yeah.
People expect to see her in there like quite a bit. Like if there's 20 episodes, they expect to see her 15 of them. And so if she's not there, then people are going to ask questions. Her character doesn't need to be a character that needs to be in there. The theme that she wants to move up and take the place of Falcone does not need to be part of this show.
Well, she's
All right.
gonna die. Like she's just
We
gonna
need a
die.
plot.
Like she's just gonna be the Catwoman character.
But-
like
I mean,
it's
it's
gonna
that,
kill her at the end.
This Mooney isn't in any. I mean, I read a lot of Batman, and I almost have never seen. I've seen Mooney
No.
before, but she's not in anything later. She's a character made for the show.
No.
So
I think
no,
so.
she's not. But
I don't think she's a primary character in anything because I've never seen that. It sounds familiar, but yeah, no,
but
she's
she
not in the
doesn't-
comic
yeah.
series.
She doesn't need to be in. She doesn't like her story does not need to even be in this. Like her story could be like another season. Like this season needs to focus on like the relationship between Falcone, the city of Gotham, and how Jim Gordon is dealing with it and trying to adapt to the fact that you've got to do some pretty seedy stuff if you want to fix the problems. Like
Right.
that's
Right.
like Falcone didn't need to be this mysterious guy and then showed up at the very end and saved Jim Gordon and stuff. That doesn't need to be it. Like they need to deal with Falcone. Now it can be that as time progresses over the course of this season, they basically build up to this element that Falcone is losing his grip on crime in the city, and that he's not as cutthroat as he used to be. In which case, you can have Jada Pinkett Smith's character come along and say, "Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and start to take over his role."
Yeah.
But it doesn't need to be like all this is happening in the first episode, because now what's left? Where do you go from here? What do I expect the season finale of this show to be? Is he going to get shot? Is Jim Gordon going to be shot? It's like, oh my god, I don't know if he's going to live or not. Well, that sucks. That's a crappy season finale.
We know
Yeah.
That's part of the problem with Gotham. We know where it's all going to go.
Yeah.
Gordon's going to become commissioner. I mean, they have not. You can't do crazy Elseworlds unless you're going to throw in Batman or something. So they're not going to do anything crazy out there. Even Arrow and stuff, to an extent, we know where Arrow's going to go to the extent of it.
Yeah.
The reason why Avengers Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is better, I think, is because we don't know. This is about characters in a universe that we don't know anything about.
Yeah, you could literally kill all of them and you wouldn't lose anything.
Yeah.
Right.
So here's what I think they need to do if they manage to pull off all the cop drama stuff, if they get better writers, all that stuff, still do that kind of stuff where they're dealing with street level crime, but have the season finale and the build up to the season finale having Falcone and Miss Mooney split off, and have Miss Mooney and Falcone fighting for control of crime in Gotham City.
Yeah.
It's fish.
And then show a build up for the season finale, having the Penguin building his forces outside the city to come in.
Right.
Have it escalate to the point where it's almost like a military battle.
Well, and here's my problem with the show, though. Let's say we do
city.
go that route, and the show gets really good, and the writing gets really good. Where are we possibly going to go from there? This is not going to stretch out 5, 6, 7 seasons of this.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't think they're planning on it going for 7 seasons. I think they're probably hoping for it going for 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Honestly, with the direction this show's going in, I don't even see it doing that.
Let's just end it on this. I feel like the show is just standing in Batman's shadow. All comic book fans are going to be like, give me Batman. All crime drama fans are going to be like, what is this superhero crap? I just want to see crime drama.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be in the middle the whole way through. It'll go halfway through the season. It probably won't even get picked up post January, and they'll just call it, and it'll come out as a box set, and then maybe get picked back up later by some crazy company like Sci-Fi who decides, yeah, we got Gotham and Batman's in it.
There's no way they'll be able to do that. I'm sure that there's some kind of directive, because the studios are always concerned with confusing the audience and making them well, if they see Batman in the show, then how will they know the Batman in the movie is the same guy?
No, they don't care, because they're already doing 2 Flashes, 2 Green Lanterns.
Oh yeah, that's true. DC doesn't give a crap.
Yeah, this is DC. They're
Yeah.
we're gonna have a TV universe and a comic universe and a movie universe.
Now,
and a
that's
video
fun.
universe, and
That's funny. That works for me because DC is all about multiverses, so that's kind of funny and works for me.
Well, you know what I think DC's. I think, and this is just on the aspect of having different everything. I think their philosophy is, if we don't tie anything together, the audience will just know each thing is separate.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the cartoon universe is separate. The cartoon shows are separate. The TV shows separate. CW and Gotham are separate. Constantine is separate from all of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
If we tie nothing together, there will never be the question of, well, why isn't the same guy popping up?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
But
so
from a writing aspect, though, it's Marvel is shoehorned into the problem of, we can't say Thor did such and such because Thor's doing this. We can't do this because Captain America's doing this. DC's like, well, in our universe, Superman just got shot. But on the movie, Superman is killing Brainiac. And on the cartoon, he's traveling in time.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, what's our overall opinion of Gotham here?
That's
Doomed?
Yeah, that shit's
It
garbage,
really
man.
needs to turn around in the next couple episodes, which they've probably already made, so it probably won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. It needs to
Otherwise,
turn
I'm
around.
going to stop watching it no matter if we talk about every episode on the podcast or not.
Well, then he'll just be lost and clueless, just like you are about the weekly comics. By the way, Dave, did you read the new Superman? No, because you don't go to the comic book store.
Nope.
I do all my omnibuses. The omnibuses. The omnibus.
Wait, I'm gonna throw Dave under the bus. There's a bus, and I'm just throwing you under it. Dave, audience, I'm looking over here because you guys are on my screen over here, but I know you're not technically sitting over there. But anyway, audience,
I'm
this is
looking
you.
up.
Yeah, it's them.
This is okay, audience. you need to inform Dave that if he's going to stay current on comics, he needs to go get the digital versions of Comixology or something like that if he doesn't want to leave the house. Because his plan is to buy all the omnibuses a year later.
Dude, just get Marvel Unlimited, man. That's what I do.
Yeah.
You just pay a monthly rate and you just get all the comics.
I think I'm gonna drop Hulu Plus because I can't tell the difference what's on Hulu Plus and what's on really regular Hulu.
No, and you're still
like
getting
they
ads.
don't do a good job with that, and I'm gonna drop that and I'm gonna get we're losing Sal. I'm
Yeah,
not
sorry.
losing Sal.
He was dying. That's why.
I was cutting the mic so you wouldn't hear me.
But no, I think I'm gonna drop that and I'm gonna get like a digital comic subscription because it's just it's not doing it for me anymore.
Yeah.
So, okay, next topic that we want to talk about, we did Thor and his original sin, and now we did Gotham, and now we're going to discuss why we all loved Avengers Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
That was amazing!
Okay,
Wait,
okay. So
Avengers Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah, whatever.
Marvel's
Marvel.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. All right. So,
That show
I was gonna
about
say, did I
films.
miss something?
so there were two huge like reveals in the show. All right. The first one came within the first 5 minutes or so, if you were quick enough to catch it, and a lot of people weren't. All right.
What was it?
There was a
this
scene
in World War II?
Yes, there was a scene where like Dum Dum Dugan or whoever it is goes to open
It was
the
the
box.
Howling Commandos.
It was the Howling Commandos, and
That was a total backdoor pilot for Agent Carter, by the way. Even though this show's a
definitely.
They're gonna do another.
definitely.
Yeah, I think they're gonna set up that show for like the first half of.
Well, the first 5 minutes, that one of the first things Agent Carter says is, "We need to establish something to take care of all of these dangers." And I'm like, "That's the other show."
Exactly. That's why I'm excited for it. But anyway, like Dum Dum Dugan or one of the guys goes to open the box and she immediately slams it shut. All right. If you were paying attention, that was the alien from season 1, the Kree or whatever it was. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
The other thing is the guy, the main Hydra agent, which I don't know if they're going to call him Kraken or not, which if they do, I'm going to be so disappointed because that's stupid, because he was a stupid character. He showed up in like Secret Warriors #2 or something stupid like that, and he was a dumb character. But nonetheless, at the end, he's still young, which tells us one of two things. Either they're messing around with the Infinity Formula, or the Kree physiology like keeps people young. Like that guy was exposed to the Kree physiology and ingested some of it or something like that. The same thing that Coulson did.
It's a holdover from that, like from the Ultimates version of the Avengers, where like he's like a Skrull or a Chitauri or something, and like he's never human. He just pretended to be human.
Yeah, I don't know. But either way, like that episode was actually pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Now, here's the difference between Gotham and that one, okay? And this is where everyone's like, oh, you're a Marvel fanboy. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came out with a bang. Gotham came out with, we're going to cram as much as we can, make you establish everything, throw it in your face. Yeah. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yes, it's the second season, but they had a lot to establish right off the bat. Yeah. We established within the same amount of time that Gotham bombed everything. Yep. Phil Coulson is now in charge. Phil Coulson is recruiting people. Welcome to the new team. Welcome to What's Wrong with Fitz. Simmons has left. Grant Ward is messed up now. Grant Ward knows who Sky's parents are. Yep. We've established that we're going back into the Sky's mystery situation. Yep. We've established that they've now got the Quinjet again. We've established that the government is still after them. All of this was established to set up the entire second season in the same amount of time, and they did it in a superhero fashion, in a superhero world. And bear in mind, this is the show that said we aren't going to do this crap. The first episode, we got the Absorbing Man. While he maybe got 5 minutes of screen time, they made those 5 minutes count.
It was done so well.
Great.
He was done so well.
First of all, I was expecting it to be not the I thought it was going to be like the Absorbing Man.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like, oh, here's Proto-Absorbing. No, it's friggin' Absorbing Man. We can use him whenever we want to. If they ever do a Hulk thing, he can be in that. He can be in Avengers. Doesn't matter. Great looking guy, like to play the Absorbing Man. The effects looked amazing. He looked just like him.
Yeah.
And
worked.
Here's another thing. I really wanted them to do this. Like, I wanted them to do, like, maybe a superhero or a supervillain that they were kind of exploring a little bit and revealing, like, every 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I wanted from the first season.
Yeah.
instead of them setting up
Instead
what
of
was it,
Deathlock forever?
Deathlock for like 3/4 of a season.
Don't
Yeah.
care.
Like
No,
do that kind of hero or villain, but do it for 3 episodes, not 15.
Or just like have like one big villain like building up over the course of the season with
Yeah.
like small villains that you run into. But here's the thing I love the most about Absorbing Man. Marvel was so smart with the way they did this. He used his powers practically. Instead of just like constantly walking around as a giant
Being
like,
metal.
Yeah, being a giant metal guy. Instead, like he made himself glass, so he was invisible to the naked eye. And so like you had to like light had to reflect off of him a certain way for you to see him. Like he only used his powers if it was necessary. You know, like he just like there was a purpose behind it, and that's why I thought they did his character so well because it was intelligent and it was grounded and it was fun.
Yeah.
And
They kept it
And
realistic.
he was pretty smart about it
Exactly,
too.
they
Like
made it
he touched the tire before he touched that like deadly
obelisk?
like.
Yeah.
I love how he looked at it. He's like, huh.
yeah, screw that.
I-
Make sure I have some rubber.
Yeah,
I don't wanna
probably
screw
not
that.
do that.
Real quick, we got a comment that Lobson didn't like scenes such as Sky shooting the military guys while they missed with assault rifles. Well, I do want to state something real quick. Lob, you have to be aware that Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is just like the movies. It's a summer blockbuster, popcorn eating kind of an experience.
Yep.
And, I mean, I loved Captain America Winter Soldier, but he did a lot of martial arts where he would have gotten shot in the head if it were the real world.
Yeah.
I was like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the same thing. You don't want Sky to get shot and die by the 20 agents. You just go, oh my god, that's so cool, she's getting shot at. That's all of these superhero shows are. I mean, Arrow, I love that show. But the way they portray him, it's a dude with a freaking bow and arrow.
Yeah.
He would be dead.
Okay, so P.H. Stewart asked the question, do we think they'll bring Graviton back? All right, one, I don't remember Graviton
Yes.
in season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
No,
it's a big
okay,
thing.
he was in there, but he wasn't.
Okay.
It was pretty much like an origin story, and the way they ended the episode is after they established what Graviton is, what the element is. At the end of the whole thing, you see his hand is still there.
Yep.
Yeah, but
they can bring him
he's
back
not
whenever
like-
they want.
Exactly,
So
but it's
yes,
not
I
like
think they'll
Graviton.
definitely-
Wasn't that scientist that was experimenting with that
Well,
technology, and then
that
they
was the
like
first season
had
where
his
they
hand
weren't going to
come
do
up through
villains
the
and
ground.
superheroes.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
weren't going to do that was the original go, and that's why the first 13 episodes were no superheroes, no supervillains. That's why Deathlock practically didn't exist, and the only thing we got that was even superhero related was the Centipede, and that's why everyone hated the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Second half of the season, we decided to get Deathlock and go in this direction, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, greatest show ever!"
Yeah, that's why I said I don't remember like Graviton full on like I've undertaken the name of Graviton and I'm just like beating the crap out of people using gravity.
No,
but,
he was in the first half of the season where it sucked. So
So I would if let me tell you something. If they bring Graviton into the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he needs to be the season finale villain that they fight because that guy he's very very formidable in terms of what he can do, and he's not. He's not a person that can because here's what I would be afraid of. They would look at Graviton and they would say, well, Graviton was in some comics and he was kind of a cool character, but he's not like Ultron. So we're just going to make him like a small guy and he's going to appear in one episode and they're going to shoot him and then that's going to be it. And that would be so disappointed because the guy's capable of so much more. Like he's a big time character in Marvel. And so like I would like
didn't they use him in Earth's Mightiest Heroes?
They did.
Yes, they did.
He was
I
the
gonna say
reason
that.
the Avengers
team. Like he
he was the
that
reason they all came
powerful.
together.
Yeah.
Great.
Like there was one
I
point
still
where,
love this scene where he's pushing Hulk down.
Yeah.
And Hulk's
Yeah.
just like, "Whoa!" and he's like standing up.
Yeah.
He's like, you can't be doing that. It's like 10,000 times the gravity of Earth. And he's like, Hulk smash.
Yeah, it was a really cool. That was a really cool episode.
Great show.
But yeah,
Agents
that
of
was,
Shield.
Yeah.
Ah, that's totally racist.
But that's the whole thing that I'm looking forward to.
I was just going on the comments.
Do what?
Someone said in the comments, Asians of Shield.
Asians of Shield. Oh
That's
my
what I was
god,
like.
man. But that's what I'm looking forward to. Is I think
I did
that-
not
that-
say Asians. Now they're all saying it was me.
Dude, are you done? Are you done interrupting?
I'm sorry, Benny. Go ahead.
All right. So anyway, no, I think that Marvel learned from their mistake in season 1,
Easy.
and they said people want to see bad guys. They want to see supervillains, and they want to see not necessarily like top billing superheroes, but the comic book fans want to see some superheroes, and people who are just watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that aren't necessarily reading comic books want to see some superheroes. And so we're gonna bring in some superheroes. And so I'm really glad to see they're doing that. They're bringing in supervillains. They're bringing in people with powers, which is what they should have done to begin with. And I think that's the difference between what Marvel's done with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and what's been going on with Fox and Gotham, is I don't think Gotham's going to learn from what it is that needs to be done here in order for their channel to grow, or for their thing to grow, their TV show to grow. Instead, they're just going to kind of keep doing what they're doing, hoping that people will eventually just kind of tie onto it and just be like, okay, it's good. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't like that. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think is learning from the mistakes they made in season 1, and they're bringing back a better show. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. What does Rob think about all this?
Well, okay, I am going to do this, though, because we can't completely shit on Gotham and not give any bad points in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's true.
And I do have an actual complaint about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And that is, first off, I don't remember if they established it, but I don't think they established how long it's been since the first season. Like, how long it's taken to establish everything.
Right.
But regardless of how much time has passed, the character shift that Grant Ward has taken bothers me. Because he went from, first off, he was a good guy. He worked with everyone. He was helping everyone out. He really showed like he cared about everyone. The shift to villain, to completely not even caring about people like Fitz and Simmons, kind of bothered me. But I was like, all right, well, we're just going to write him off at the end of this, and that's just going to be one of those TV moments. We don't really have time to establish the flip, you know? But now we've flipped to, he reminded me of Hannibal Lecter now.
Yeah.
He wants to kill himself. He's in a
He's
glass
like really
cage.
creepy.
Yeah, and he's all like, Sky, I'll see you soon.
I'll
Yeah.
only talk
You
to
told me-
you,
you told me
Sky,
about that.
but
You
I
said
will
that he
tell
reminded
you
you.
absolutely everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know about your
If
father.
you let
I'll see
me
you
talk,
soon.
if you let me talk to you, Sky, let me. Oh, I can't go that far, but okay, let's.
Yeah, like you told me that, when you said that you had sat down and watched it, that he reminded you of Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
And when they finally had the scene where she went down into the basement or wherever it was where he was housed at, and she was talking to him, I was like, this looks like something out of Red Dragon or Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I expect to see Jodie Foster come down here any minute now. And
And that kind of bothered me because I liked Grant Ward's character. Even when he did the flip to Hydra, we
Oh,
had
that was cool.
experiences like
That was
he
a great
gonna
twist.
switch around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a great thing. And now we've gone from slight twist to he's on the edge and doesn't know if he should back Hydra or not, to Hannibal Lecter backing the agents, but he's Hannibal freaking Lecter, basically.
Yeah.
He's got his head shaved. He's tried to kill himself multiple times. He's sitting there showing scars. Oh, I had a bad patch where at first I would use a button, and I could take a button and cut my wrist. And did you know that if you take paper, you can make it sharper? Even his vocal, the way his sentence structure was off during that,
I thought not as much as he was Hannibal Lecter. I haven't seen too many Hannibal Lecter movies, but
Neither one.
oh, yeah, all you need to see is
I
Silence
haven't
of the
seen
Lambs and Red
Silence-
Dragon.
But I felt like he was pathetic.
Yeah.
He was.
I thought he was I'm doing this for you, Sky.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Well, and like that, we don't know if he's playing a con or something. Like he probably is. It's but you can't trust him because every character moment he's had has been a turn or a betrayal.
Yeah.
So he's just gonna go rogue and he's gonna escape and he'll he really does love Sky, but he's also trying to do something. It'll be.
Well, you know what I really hope they don't do?
I-
They don't play off his character shift to entirely be because he fell in love with Sky.
Yeah.
That'll be so shoehorned and stupid if this Grant Ward, this badass agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., not Asians, agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. / betrayal Hydra guy who betrayed all of his friends, met a girl at the beginning of season 1, fell in love with her, and is changing his entire life's focus because of that.
Yeah.
That would bother me.
It would be a little disappointing and a little saddening because Ward was a really cool and dynamic character, and especially when you consider the fact that he just switched, was all of a sudden like Hydra. And I have a very hard time believing that a guy who was that devoted to Hydra, that he was willing to betray basically everybody in S.H.I.E.L.D., would suddenly just not really care.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
just
he's just
kinda be
coughing
like,
up
well,
information.
It seems kind of
Didn't
silly.
he pass it off as when I questioned that they were starting to go a little crazy in the end. Didn't he play it off something like that?
Yeah, he came out saying that he was questioning the loyalties of Hydra, that they seemed a little off. But to me, that's just lazy writing.
That's just a lazy excuse as to why he's giving up information now.
Yeah, and so I'd much rather see that he's still playing a long con, or that he still believes he can somehow make it out of this, or something like that, But
Yeah.
the idea of him just, well, I'm just doing all this because hopefully Sky will love me if I do this long enough, is just
Yeah.
dumb.
I kind of expected them to kind of have him like double cross, or would it be a triple cross on Hydra, or be committed to Shield in the
Yeah.
end, like, and have that transfer over into this season. I don't really think I wanted to see him change again to be like kind of this like pathetic kind of person. I wanted him to be almost like a Hawkeye or a like Black Widow kind of character, only for Agents of Shield, that would divulge information to either side to either mislead them, or like kind of be that gray area where Hawkeye and Black Widow used to be before the movies.
Yeah.
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 But he's not like that, or maybe he is like that, but we just haven't figured it out yet. But I'm not feeling that. I'm feeling like he really truly is how he is now.
Right.
Okay. And the Ward thing. The other thing that slightly bothered me was what they've done with Fitz and Simmons.
That was cool.
Actually, yeah, I liked it. I
I
liked it.
liked it, but I'm wondering where they're going to go
Yeah.
with this. Because Fitz and Simmons were the goofy. They were the jokesters. They had all the jokes.
Mhm.
They were the humor side of
Yeah.
season 1. And now you've removed Simmons basically.
Yep.
And you basically made Fitz your sad puppy situation.
Yeah, but
Where
it
we
gives
all
it
want to
more
see him
serious
recover,
tone.
but
well, you made Fitz into a supervillain. So
Well, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to a darker place now.
yeah.
Right,
in
but
a way,
that's
like,
not a
as
TV
a
show that we
whole.
see every week. Like, I mean,
No.
Agents of Shield is great because we would have darker episodes, like Hydra just took over and Phil Coulson might lose his life, but then you'd still have the characters who cracked the jokes.
Yeah.
You'd still
Yeah.
have the Joss
I guess
Whedon
so.
humor
Oh,
wrapped
yeah.
in, and the Joss Whedon humor was from Fitz and Simmons primarily, and then Sky's kind of take on everything. Well,
Right.
now Sky is a badass agent. Like whatever time passage has happened, she's learned how to be an agent. And Fitz is our sad puppy situation where we're all like, oh man, kind of like when Willow went crazy in Buffy, and you were all like, oh Willow, that sucks. That's our Fitz now, oh poor Fitz.
Yeah.
And Simmons apparently abandoned ship on the whole thing, so there goes our humor element in its entirety. Ward, the guy that we were backing in the first scene, is now our villain, and Phil Coulson is. I don't know how much he's going to be in the show with the role he's taken. He's kind of up in the air all the time.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's the thing. Like, to me, in all honesty, Fitz and Simmons were goofy. Fitz and Simmons made it feel like I was watching NCIS, and I hated that show because it was. I always thought it was dumb. And
Yeah.
Fitz and Simmons, sure, they had an element of comedy, but they took away from the serious nature of the show because you had Agents of Shield coming off hot off the the coattails of like the Avengers and Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and like Dave said, Marvel moving towards a darker and more realistic and
Yeah.
gritty series of films.
Yeah.
And then you have Agents of Shield where you have Fitz and Simmons making stupid jokes. And to me, it took away from like the seriousness that the show could present. And so I think that Marvel's done a good job here by cutting one of them out and making the other one crazy, by making like Fitz more or less like Simmons is in his head now. Which I
Yeah.
thought the way they revealed that was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
The way
Oh,
they revealed
yeah, I
that
like-
in the end,
like
that she's
that
just
last-
not there. Yeah.
Yeah. That was great.
What I would have liked is if they had held it out for a few more episodes. I thought that would have been kind of cool.
I disagree, man. I think it was perfect timing. I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
I think,
because
I think it was
Yeah,
perfect
I think it was a
timing.
good. I think it was a good last moment reveal because I don't think it had enough of a gut punch.
Yeah.
I don't think it was enough
Yeah.
to have like a really. I mean, like it was a all right. Everything was enough. Like we got enough show, but I think it was a great like gut punch for us for like because none of our characters were in peril. Like we were introduced to Xena and like then she was gone. So like we didn't have to worry about that. Like none of our main protagonists were in any danger or were in any compromising situation at the end of the episode. There's nothing that happened at the end of the show that made us worry about whether our characters were going to be okay. And now we are. Like now,
And I
like
think-
wow.
I think the show more knows what it is now. It's a show that everybody is going to watch regardless of if there's a cliffhanger at the end.
Yeah.
Like for example, I'm going to watch next week's show regardless. Like I don't care. Like
Yeah.
it's Agents of Shield. It's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I want to see what happens.
Yeah.
And everybody else does too.
I mean,
Yeah.
but
So,
that's the difference.
they
Here.
don't
They're
have-
tying everything in. Like they're tying in the Kree. Like we have a Kree that we're like we don't even know what the hell is going on with that.
Yeah.
That's an
For the
unresolved thing
record,
from
it
season
has
1.
still not been confirmed that it is Kree.
Okay, it's Kree, man. What else is it going to be? All the evidence.
It's a blue
points to-
alien.
I am gonna laugh so hard if they can't say Kree because of the Fantastic Four deal and they name it something else. I'm gonna rub that in your face so
That
hard.
would be so disappointing. But see, I don't even think that would apply because the Kree are not like a Fantastic Four property. I wouldn't think.
No.
Because they're in everything.
And
Yeah.
I mean,
you know that technically after this next reboot movie that Fox does, they've agreed to give the rights back to Marvel
what?
for Fantastic Four.
What?
Did you not hear that when they first announced Fantastic Four? They said this reboot is like
No,
our
no,
last.
No.
No, that was a rumor.
I heard
That was an April
it was like a prank. Like
Yeah.
it was an April Fool's joke that they like
Well-
Marvel bought the rights back for like $5
Dave,
billion
you even
or something
research
stupid
on the
like
internet.
Yeah,
Dave heard it on the internet, so it's got to
Look at his face. He's
Well,
like,
I'm just done now.
I wish
I'm
that
done.
were. I mean, like, I
That
would love to believe you,
disappointment, though.
but I don't think so.
Wow,
Hey.
did Dave just? Oh, okay.
No,
I was like, wow, that
like-
disappointment.
Dave just grand-worded long conned us. Well, short
Wow.
conned.
That touche.
You know what, though, in response to them not having Fitz and Simmons, maybe part of my problem right now is we haven't really established the new characters.
Yeah.
Like, it seems
Yeah.
like the first episode, we had a lot of extra guys. One died, like, immediately. One pretty much got wrote off immediately. So we don't really have the new Goofies. We don't really have the new badass agent. We still got May. We still got Phil Coulson. We still got Fitz.
Yep.
And we're just kind of seeing where they're at after last season. And I think maybe that's part of my problem right now, is that we just haven't established the replacements to fill out the cast yet.
Right. Although
And
we do
see-
have that. We do have the cool black guy. I don't remember his name, but he's cool too, and I like him. Like, I'm glad he's on the show.
Well, so
Well, you
here's
guys-
the kicker for like this whole thing, because one thing to keep in mind too is that if it is true, if what is in that box is a Kree, then that means that there are now 2. Because in
Or
the
it's the
first
same-
season,
or yeah, it's the same.
no,
one.
remember in the first season, we saw the Kree that was in that big tube thing when in that episode Tahiti, when
Yeah.
Coulson went in there and said, "Oh my God, this is what they're using to revive Sky, and it's how they brought me back," and blah 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 blah. But then in this one, that thing is still it's in the same container that it was before, in the
Yeah.
same box that it was before. Now I have a very hard time believing that they would have somehow, during all this chaos, been able to get that Kree out of the box, get it examined, when the entire time they don't know what's in that box in the first place. And so,
But we don't know what happens between Agent Carter, because that's basically what that is. That opening is Agent Carter. So we don't know what happens between the Agent Carter show and all the way to the point of Nick Fury having secret bases.
That is
For all
true.
you know, the 13th episode of Agent Carter is going to establish what they did with the Kree body, how S.H.I.E.L.D. got started. Maybe because of that Kree, they started S.H.I.E.L.D. And then the first thing they did was move that to a secure location, to which Nick Fury finds it later.
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, they've
Actually, I
already-
think Nick Fury is
well,
technically alive at this point anyway, so maybe he just took it.
Yeah, he's underground.
He's alive. Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm curious to see where they go with all this, because obviously it's going to be tying into the Marvel Cinematic Universe in terms
Yep.
of like the movies. But my other question here is this show going to tie into what they're doing on Netflix? Is it
Oh,
going to
I
tie
hope
into
so.
yeah? Is it going to tie into Daredevil? Is it going to tie into Luke
When
Cage
does
it
and Jessica
really hope
Jones
so.
and
I
When does that
think
start? Is that next year or this year?
next year? It starts in
No,
the
it's this
fall
year.
of next
It's
year.
2015.
I think
Yeah.
close to the end of the season for this show, we're gonna see them meet with Daredevil and meet with Luke Cage and everybody, and they might even try to recruit them, depending.
No,
and then
I think you're giving too much credit to them because they've already pretty much said they're not doing the main guys. I could see mentions at the end of the season. Hey, did you hear about this guy over at Hell's Kitchen?
Yeah.
He's running around in
Yeah.
red, kicking people's butt. I could see mentions and stuff, but I don't see them popping up at all.
I feel like it'll be like almost like a movie reveal only in one episode where they do like a Daredevil episode and then at the end they say Daredevil will be returning on Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, in all
Like
honesty,
all go
That'd be
buy
really
your
cool.
Netflix subscriptions.
Yeah, like in all
Because-
honesty, I would prefer that if they do that if they do somehow like tie in Daredevil, and if they tie in Luke Cage and these characters that are going to be in their Netflix series, that they don't have them in Agents of Shield.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because it would take away from Agents of Shield.
Yeah, I think
if they-
so. I mean, like,
Yeah. if they brought Daredevil in and they said, "Oh my God, it's Matt Murdock," and he's really cool and he's blind and he's still beating the hell out of people and stuff, but people would say, "Oh, let's all go over to Netflix," and it would take away from like what
I
Agents of
don't
Shield
think
is
so at
built
all.
on itself.
Well, I don't think
I
any
think-
of us would be
maybe-
like, I don't
maybe.
think if Shield is great, and
Yeah.
Daredevil is going to be on, I don't think any of us are going to be like, well, I only have time for.
Yeah, no.
Like, I'm not going to be able to watch
another
Shield
thing is
now.
they're two different formats. Like Netflix is an experience where you can watch the show at any time.
Yeah.
And Agents of Shield, if you want to watch it the very instant it comes out on TV, you have to sit down in front of your TV at 8 o'clock on Tuesdays.
Yeah. I
don't know.
watch it on Hulu Plus. I don't know when it comes.
I'm
on.
not even gonna lie. I steal that shit when it's off. I had iTunes, dude. Okay, funny side note. Okay, I get the iTunes season passes, all that crazy crap, make it legit.
Yeah.
But what I discovered is iTunes is slower than people stealing it. So.
Yeah, I have a Hulu Plus account, so I watch that. I watch like Hell's Kitchen on Hulu Plus. I watch all that stuff on Hulu Plus.
I tried Hulu, but I just couldn't get. I don't like how Hulu doesn't leave the rest of the season on there. So if you try to get into a show late into a season, they're like, "Here's half of it."
Yeah.
The big thing that bothers me about Hulu is that on the Agents of Shield page, even though I have Hulu Plus, it says watch the whole season on Hulu Plus, like it's an advertisement at the bottom of the video. And it's like, no, because I have Hulu Plus and you only have one episode from the last season.
Yeah.
And you're trying to con people out of their money to get them to sign up and go check out the show, and then
that's what I don't like about Hulu Plus. I actually have a Netflix. I have an Amazon Prime account actually because
Yeah,
I do
I
it for
have Amazon
shipping
Prime.
purposes, and they have a lot of great shows in there.
Yeah.
I actually say screw Hulu Plus, and I go get I just buy the season passes off iTunes a lot of times because Hulu Plus I'm paying what? It's like $15 a year now. And
no, Hulu Plus is like $8 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hulu
No, it's
Plus
like having a
is
Netflix subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was like
$8
$15 a month. Okay,
Yeah,
and
it's
I'll
like
have-
Netflix with ads.
but like
Yeah.
most of the seasons that I get on iTunes is like $30. So I guess it would even out in the end, but I'd have to stay on top of it with Hulu. Wow, with iTunes, I just get the download as mine. It's on my computer. Like when we all go to New York Comic Con, I don't have to worry about catching up with my Hulu shows in time. I can just go.
But
you
see,
know.
like I like Hulu because like when I'm getting ready to go to bed, I can like catch up on a TV show before I go to sleep. I can watch
Well,
Agents of
that's
Shield
what
on my
that's what I
iPhone.
do with iTunes and stuff like that, or I just go illegally download it. I'll be that guy. I'll say it. I know everyone in the world does it. I'm not the only guy.
When your channel gets shut down, man, you can blame it on yourself.
No, but I'm saying this on your channel.
all of my friends have a Hulu Plus also, and the reason they tell me is like there's so many great animes on there, and I'm like, I don't watch anime though.
Yeah, I don't watch that
And
either.
they're like, oh, well then why do you pay for it? And I'm like, good point. Like, that's exactly the point I'm making.
Yeah. But I keep Hulu Plus because myself and some friends of mine, we all have Hulu Plus, HBO Go, and Netflix, and we all just swap that stuff around. And so,
Yeah.
you know, it all works out in the
No,
You
end.
guys
But
want? I'll give you
Can
all.
you
of
get
all of-
HBO Go on its own now?
they're
coming.
actually, yeah, they're talking about that. They're saying like,
They're
Coming.
talking about it.
HBO is seriously considering the idea of making HBO Go like a separate entity from HBO.
Because honestly, I would
which should have been done
pay.
a long time ago.
I would pay probably up to like $15 or $20 a month for that.
See,
I
people are
mean-
agreeing with me. I'm not the only one.
Oh, about Hulu?
I mean,
No, shit.
Oh yeah, about stealing shit. But no, like I mean, like look at HBO. I mean, you got like Boardwalk Empire. You've got like Oz. Like I binge watched like all of Oz. Like
Yeah.
The Wire. I need to start watching The Wire again. Like you've got like some really good shows. But nonetheless, so off topic here. So Agents of Shield. I think we can agree here that this show is coming along quite nicely, given that it's just the first episode, and that the rest of the season looks promising, assuming like they stay the course.
Yes.
They
Now,
stay on
like,
this road.
it did have half the like it was like half the audience that it had on the first episode. Like the
Yeah.
the pilot for season 1, it was like 50% less than
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's too bad.
But they introduced it in a lull. I mean, you had a movie that came out in the summer. You have a movie that doesn't come out again until May, and so you're in this point. People are just kind of like,
Also, it's like
I
that's
think what
gonna.
they're doing this time is last time they had a lot of tie-ins, a lot of crossovers, and they kept hyping it up. As a matter of fact, I think like when the Winter Soldier situation happened, they were like, "See what happens on Winter Soldier?
Yep.
All Agents of Shield." And I
Yeah.
think this season they're trying to do. We're going to do Agents of Shield between the movies to establish a whole bunch of crap.
Yep.
I think it's the plan.
which is a smart move. I mean, it's a
Well,
smart move
and-
to provide this mortar in there for what goes on between the different movies.
Yeah.
How many episodes does that have? Is that going to go up until next year?
Yeah, it's about
Yeah.
it ends like
Yeah.
the season finale should be around March, April again.
Yeah.
And then it'll be conveniently right before the movies come out.
Yeah, I was just
So
gonna
it's
say.
probably
is
going
it
to
gonna
end.
be able?
Here's my prediction. It's going to end with Ultron doing something to the Shield computer.
Ah,
God,
pretty
man.
cool.
Like it like they'll resolve whatever the issue is. Phil Coulson will go back to the base, and it'll be like Ultron's face, and he'll be like, this is now an entity of Ultron, and he'll be like, "What is this? Call the Avengers!" And boom, Avengers 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of Ultron, like, here's a question that I've been wondering: do you think they're gonna have like any Ultron stuff at Comic-Con in New York?
You've been debating that like crazy. I think it's
I've
too
been-
far out.
You think so?
I'm actually going through the guest list to see who I can tweet and
No.
try to get interviews with, and I don't see anything related to
Are
Ultron.
you guys getting the
Related
emails about
list.
getting set up for interviews?
Yeah, no, that's fine. You do that. You can do that easy if you want to.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to because I don't feel like I'll have the equipment for it.
Honestly, what a lot of that is just the people who are not big enough that you would notice them. Like nobody's requesting, so their publicist sends out a. By the way, this person's gonna be there with I think one of the ones I got was the girl who played Tara on Buffy in like
Yeah.
season 6.
Yeah,
She,
I was like,
they
who's
sent me,
that?
she wrote a new book. If you want to interview her, and I'm like.
Nope.
I did not see that.
Yeah.
I got other stuff like
I thought she was great on Buffy. I thought she was really good on Buffy. I liked her as the witch Tara and everything, but I don't think I want to read a book by her. Like,
Well, that and like, I don't know if the book would be relevant enough to what we do.
oh yeah, no.
like-
what I'm gonna try to do
like-
is arrange interviews with a lot of the comic book writers and stuff like that, and they're a lot easier to get a hold of, honestly. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, all right. So talking about Comic-Con, because I know that God, I know I'm so excited. So here's the deal, guys. So we had talked about this earlier. For those of you guys who were running a little bit late to arriving at the podcast. So Comic-Con,
Wait, we're
the
doing
New
podcast?
York
Are we
Comic-Con.
live?
No, dude, like this
I
is
thought
all
we were just guessing for the last
this
2
is all the
hours.
pre-show. This is all the podcast pre-show.
We haven't done a pre-show in weeks. We need to do another
we
pre-show.
do.
or something.
We need to.
Can we do
But,
a post-show?
Do what?
Can we do a post-show? We'll do it like live. We'll just do it right now.
We can do a post-show. But
All right.
we're talking about Comic-Con at the moment, man.
All right, we're going to Comic-Con. All 4 of us will be there. We're going to arrange a meeting on one of the days. It'll most likely be Saturday night at a local restaurant or something along those lines. We will be there. If you find Rob on the floor or outside, he will give you t-shirts. If you find me, I will give you buttons because I don't want to spend as much money as Rob. Dave will also be there if you want to shake his hand. Sal will be there with the entire TV Little House crew. We will all be there with cameras. We're going to be trying to do interviews. We'll be doing a live weekly poll from the floor. Now, that may or may not be successful and go 2 hours. It may be 10 minutes of us going, hi!
Yeah.
That's how successful the connection holds up. We don't know, but the weekly poll will be casted live Thursday, that October 7th, with all of us on the press room floor from Comic-Con. We will be doing it live from my laptop and iPad. It'll be interesting. We find us on the floor. We'll be roaming around down there. I will have a t-shirt with my new logo and Comic Historian. Rob will have a Marvel Explained logo. Dave will be wearing a polo, and I think Sal's got a TV Little House shirt.
I'm making
Wearing
a shirt.
polo.
I'm also going to be making up some weekly pull shirts, so look for us in our logos or weekly pull. If you see us in the weekly pull shirts, then look for a camera because we're probably recording something.
Yes.
Did I miss anything, Rob?
My God, man. You know what? No, you didn't miss
Probably
anything.
not.
Probably not. Like you just tore
Also,
through all
while
that.
we're in New York and New Jersey, if you want to have a meetup, we will be going around to go to Sal's comic book store. We're going to be planning on popping in at Midtown Comics. We're going to be popping in at the Secret Stash. We don't know the exact times or dates because we're trying to get a hold of those organizations to let them know we want to come through and record some stuff while we're there. You'll also see a whole bunch of like weird vloggy stuff going up on all of our channels of the weekly pool team goofing off and having a great time out there.
That's gonna be fun.
That's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. And if you are in that area, we really would love to meet you guys. We really do enjoy this. We enjoy talking to you guys, and we're going there so we can meet up with people. So,
Totally.
I get it.
Yeah, man. Like, yeah, like getting like beer and burgers is gonna be pretty badass.
Right, we're gonna pick out a restaurant. Sal's supposed to be looking them up. Probably be Saturday night. We're gonna arrange a point where we will be here at this time. The plan is it'll be a place where we can get food. So if nobody shows up, we can just get food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, we don't know with the combined size of us or the people going to New York Comic Con how many people can actually show up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we don't want to preemptively plan a large event and then it's just one dude shows up and he's like, "I love you guys," and we'll be
We're
like,
like, "Yay!"
You're gonna get a burger from us."
Yeah. Exactly.
So
But,
just to be truthfully honest, it'll be awkward.
Don't. Yeah.
Just one guy being
But
all
you'll be
weird.
seeing us walking around New York in our t-shirts, promoting our stuff. So
Pretty much. But yeah, all right. So post show.
see, I talk faster than you, Rob, so it works out better.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. But see, here's the difference. Here's the difference that everybody seems to unanimously agree about. You talk faster than me, but I say more important stuff.
I don't know. Let's if you want to play this game, Rob, let's compare videos. Hulk versus Iron Man. Let's just see who did better. Who covered more important stuff, Rob?
I mean, yeah.
Benny is having a seizure.
Okay. So there's that one video. Okay.
I'm just gonna say that even you said I covered more important stuff in that video.
You did. Like that video was actually really cool. Like it gave people all the backstory of like the relationship between Bruce Banner and
And I'm also the guy putting out Thor and Loki today because you didn't want to bother. So
I'm not going to do Thor and Loki. Thor and Loki doesn't really. And besides, I want to move on to Infinity Gauntlet. Like all these people have waited long enough. Like it's time to do
You
Infinity
did that
Gauntlet.
whole setup and then probably upset people.
Yeah, and then like let's do Original Sin.
your last episode of Original Sin, I think, is full of comments of "Thank God it's over."
Yeah, well, there's like one more, and then that's it. So
Ah.
You
yeah.
ate it today, didn't you?
Huh?
I haven't watched it yet. I haven't watched
Oh,
it yet.
maybe,
Didn't you
maybe
do
I did do it number 8 today.
Yeah.
You've done so
okay.
many Original Sin, you lost track.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like Civil War. Like there were times like literally where I started doing a video and I was 10 minutes in and I was like, I've already talked about this. And like I would have to go back and redo it again.
Yeah.
All right. So since he's moving on, do you want to go over what our channels are doing? We'll come up with a pre-show for next week because we can't on the fly come up with our post-show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so all right, so here's the deal. So those of you guys who have been wanting character discussions, we're going to get back into that. Once we finish with Infinity Gauntlet, we're going to do Miss Marvel, Phil Coulson, and Tony Stark, I think, in that order. I think it's how I laid it out on Twitter. Also, if you guys aren't familiar, if you guys aren't following us on Twitter, then you guys should, because that's where we post like all kinds of random stuff. That's where I usually post updates on like
That's
what
where we yell
videos
at
are
each other.
coming out. That's where we yell at each other. That's where Benny cries and says that he's leaving the podcast. That's where
At least once a week, it's like,
I put out previews of my shows too. Look,
Everybody hates me in the comments. I'm
Benny's
leaving.
a big drama queen. He's
I
a
quit.
big drama queen.
I am not a drama queen.
A drama queen. No, nobody's paying attention to me. I'm
I
leaving.
can hear you. I don't know what you're saying.
But that's usually where we post updates about stuff.
By the way, I just want to say real quick: did anybody else go buy Disney Infinity figures? Because
No, I didn't. I'm not buying Disney Infinity figures.
Okay,
I have
so,
a grown-up house.
I don't want
so
to.
my
go fuck yourself and my Assassin's Creed flag and my
That
Sandy
is an
Bethesda.
awesome-looking Assassin's Creed flag.
And over here, see, do you see over here? That is right there. That's just that shelf. That's Skyrim, Titanfall, Borderlands pre-sequel. That's comic books on the wall.
God, I need to play some Sky. I haven't played Skyrim in so long. I need to play
We
some more
should do.
Skyrim.
We should do like we should do an episode of the Weekly Pull Cribs and just show off our pad.
Here's my pad.
Yeah, like welcome to my one-bedroom apartment, everybody. Let's go through the kitchen, living room, dining room area.
I have a feeling me and Sal will be in nice contention, and Rob will just be like, "I'm an adult. Look at my house."
These are my
mean-
tax forms. Here are my daily
tax
vitamin supplements.
Actually, that's pretty much
Man.
exactly it.
Do you have a one a day thing? Like, do you take?
Yeah, I've got what is that? GNC one a day, what, Megamin,
Booyah.
Megamin vitamins. Yeah,
we
man.
need to do that in like a year.
Raccoon on the desk, so I win.
Yeah, and here's my Rocket Raccoon Disney Infinity figure
Here's
Trying to
my
think of
treasure trove of toys.
I just bought the
this
action
is
figures for
comic
us.
reviews, and I need to show you guys my room tour. Here's my closet that has all my comic books underneath it, and here's a couple cabinets that are filled with comic books, and yeah, that's it. Thanks
Nice.
for watching.
So I'll be like, welcome to my kitchen where I put a caffeine drip directly in my vein every morning.
But seriously,
I'm really curious to see what Sal's place looks like.
Well, you will see it.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, we will see it. We will see it in October.
long-term plans, I am going to have a comic book library in my house.
Cool.
I do already. I've got you beat. I've got 12 long boxes full. I win. We're not even competing, and I win. I have a bunch of graphic novels.
Here's my rocking chair where I whittle
The
some
only
wood.
person I'm scared of beating me is Sal, just because I think Sal may have more crap than me.
I have more. I mean, I don't know.
I don't have figures
12
and
long boxes,
single
I have,
issues.
Like, maybe 5.
Oh, I've only got like this entire like library of stuff. I've got this whole room filled with toys.
I think Sal can beat me. I've got a lot of statues and crap.
I don't.
My wife, she likes to buy the statues and we display them all over. So.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Benny, why don't you send Sal pictures of your collection on Busted so
Yeah,
that he
what the hell,
actually
man?
has something to show?
I gotta show friggin' Ben's desk every week.
Because yeah, like he's like, this is Ben's like one figure that he decided to spend $10 on.
Yep. Yeah, that's Busted. We haven't done a Busted in a couple
How
of
about
weeks.
I'm buying a whole batch of statues for the fall to replace, swap out a lot of stuff.
A
I'll send
full
it to you
batch.
I'll send it. Yeah. What? I'm getting the Hawk Girl Diva statue. I'm getting the Rocket Raccoon statue that we discussed already.
Oh yeah.
The Christmas special Harley Quinn statue.
Oh cool.
There's a couple more planned. I've already got planned out. I'm picking them up.
People have been screaming at me to do Avengers versus X-Men.
I've got to move on to the next part
You
of
should
it.
do it. I just did it.
I'm stuck.
You
I'm
did.
stuck.
Yes, you did.
I'm stuck in Original Sin right now, and I'm supposed to go to the next one after Avengers Disassembled.
Well,
So I
I'm
can move-
I'm really excited to do Old Man Logan. I can't wait to do Old Man Logan. I love
Well,
that. That's
now-
like my favorite Wolverine
It's a good
story.
one.
It
So
is.
somebody requested it from me. I'm going to do it next week and win. There we go.
Oh, you're gonna
Problem.
do Old Man Logan? Really?
I win. I win these competitions. that
Let
don't
me
exist.
let me know a little bit ahead of time so I can buy the Miller Wolverine omnibus and show that on my channel and whore myself to all your viewers.
So what happens if I sit down and I say, "Hey, Dave, I'm gonna do an omnibus on like," or not. I'm gonna do like.
You're
like
never
when I
gonna
say-
do an omnibus.
No, like when I say like I'm doing the whole Infinity Gauntlet explain. Are you gonna go out and buy the Infinity Gauntlet omnibus for like $500?
No, I have it. So like.
Oh, no, I
played before.
Oh, I didn't know you had it.
Yeah, that's how I read it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have it.
I
and
thought
I've
you
already
said
read
like
it.
I thought you said it was like impossible to get a hold of because it was so expensive.
No,
Which
older,
one was it that
older
you were
stuff.
talking? Okay, there was one you were talking about where you said it's like super expensive.
There's a lot. The original Wolverine omnibus is like $300.
Oh wow.
Maybe that's what I was talking about. I know there's like before they reprinted the X-Men omnibus collections, they were like 300.
Wow.
Dave, Gumby says that you're going to have sex swings and whips in your house.
Wow.
Well,
That's so funny. That'd be amazing. He's like, this is where I keep all my comics. And
I have to make an admission.
You're supposed
My
to.
girlfriend and I are very kinky.
Whoa! You know what'd be hilarious though? Like I'm like, look at my house with the toys and the video games. And Sal's like, look at all my comics and collections. And,
Oh wow.
and Rob's like, look at my adult house. And Dave's like, look at my sex dungeon.
and this is my
Wow. Yeah, I've got.
All right,
I've
all right.
actually-
So
I've
Dave,
actually got,
what are you
like-
doing this week on your channel? Anything?
Today, actually, after we're done, I'm going to open Premiere and I'm going to edit my my frontline episode of Civil War and
Yay.
probably another one.
You're
All
still
right,
doing
I'm
Civil
not
War?
doing-
not
So
sure if I'm
next-
doing.
everyone know
Took a break. Remember, I was like, I'm bored of doing Civil War stuff. So for 2 or 3 weeks, I'm just gonna do like DC and random indie stuff and unboxings and stuff like that.
Okay.
For the record, Dave, when I take a break, I do like 3 other videos on a different topic. So, all right, what's going on TV Little House Comics?
TV Little House Comics, which is all different words. We are doing We just came out with a new episode of
They're all different. Yes,
Back
they are,
to-
Sal. They're all different words.
It's all
So
different words.
nonchalantly.
Well, because
Oh, man.
yeah, it's a whole thing. Let's not
But
talk
just so
about
you
it.
all know, we've helped Sal. Me and him sat down and figured out why you couldn't find him in the search engine.
Yeah, it's
Because
a
Sal
mess.
made it one word, so we made it different words.
We made it separate words, so it's TV, little house, and then
Yes.
everyone comics just for good measure.
The premise to success.
Why,
Yep.
why are all these Little House on the Prairie episodes coming
That's
out?
what you would get when you look for him.
I've got to do something about that. We've actually been discussing the possibility of me changing the whole damn channel name entirely, which I don't want to do, but I might if we have to. But we're testing out the spaces. We're going to see how TV Little House
Well-
comics works.
Unless I'm wrong, it's about how your channel got started, right? Because you had a
we're
Little
watching them.
House.
We used to make like
Yeah.
shorts and like a reality show, and like
Yeah.
it was only later that like I decided to do a comic show called Sal Says What, and then we turned it into this, and so
Yeah.
When you did Sal Says What, did everyone say Kevin Smith? Why are you going by different names?
people do make a comparison. I'm like, I don't look like Kevin Smith. I just
Oh,
look.
he is way fatter than you.
Yeah, he's way
Wow.
fatter than me. No, trust me. He does-
Wait. Who's fatter, Kevin Smith or Rob? Let's go with that one.
Oh, fuck you,
Kevin's
man.
way fatter.
You know what? When you get here to New York, I'm gonna kick you in your ankles and leave you laying there.
I'm gonna kick you in your ankles.
I'm gonna kick you in your ankles, make you fall, and then tell people you have like $500 in
Rob,
cash on you. That guy's got $500 in cash, man.
People
Yeah.
don't know. Just
He's
you
going
know.
to Comic-Con. He wants to complete a collection.
Yeah.
I broke both my ankles twice while in the military in war in Iraq and Afghanistan, and Rob wants to beat on a veteran. I'm just
Yeah, I'm gonna
that
beat the hell
dude-
out of that veteran. Is what's gonna happen, man. Kick him in his ankles and make him fall down.
All right,
I don't know who wins
What's
this.
going on over at TV Little House? All separate words.
For TV Little House, today we just released a new episode of Back Issues, where it's a comic book discussion series where I explain comics to you guys. In this case, one guy and one girl for the next 2 weeks about who don't normally read comics. This week was Zero Year, which got the attention of the writer of Zero Year, Scott Snyder. And that was an uncomfortable day.
Even though it was uncomfortable for you,
Oh, it was
And-
amazing.
I'm gonna tell you guys because I know Sal's point of view, but I can tell much more funnier story. So here's from my point of view what the whole thing with Sal said. So me and Sal are chatting about his Zero Year, and I'm debating with him. I'm like, dude, Zero Year wasn't that bad. You know, I haven't really finished reading it. I'm waiting for the trades, but I don't think it's as bad as you made it out to be. We're discussing it just like normal, and we go away from the whole thing, and he hits me up and he goes, "Oh my god, look at the comments." I'm like, what do you mean look at the comments? So I go digging through the comments, and there's Scott Snyder responding to this video stating, "Sorry you didn't like it, but thanks for the read."
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Wow.
It's worse than
He has
that.
been doing
Your
such a
name
good
is
job on
Mud
Batman.
now.
I gotta-
Just-
I got a Twitter because I love Scott Snyder's run. Like he rescued Batman from Grant Morrison, and
Yeah.
like he nailed it with Court of Owls. Death of the Family was really cool. I loved his Clayface 2-parter. Like there's so much about it that was so great. And Zero Year is just not year one. It just didn't work. And he jumps on Twitter and he follows me, and I'm like, "Hi, dude." And then he comments that, and he says like, "Hey man, sorry I didn't like it. That's one of my like most favorite things. Like that's the best thing I've written." And I'm like, "Dude, like I'm really sorry." Because sometimes I don't think about the fact that because and then I rewatch the episode and I'm like, "Oh well, Snyder decides to just da da da," and I'm like, "This guy's a human being who really just wants to
Wow.
write cool Batman
Dude,
stories."
you have totally torpedoed
you
your chance
really
of ever
tore
getting with
into-
another DC writer.
Like for those of you guys,
Yeah.
let me give you a little sample of Sal's of a portrayal of it in his video. Okay, this is me pretending to be Sal, but basically he's like, "Zero Year sucks. It's horrendous. Scott Snyder doesn't know what he's doing.
I did
Wow.
not say he didn't know what he was doing. I simply said that Scott Snyder was doing things that were like stupid.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
But
did you
it's funny
not?
'cause
Did you
it's
not
one of your
preface
longest
it?
episodes, and for the whole episode, you pretty much said Scott Snyder messed this.
Oh, I
up.
blame him entirely for my lack of enthusiasm for the series. Not the series, just that the story arc. And then that's the one he sees. I did Death of the Family. Like, I like Court of Owls. Like, and that's the one he sees. Is that one? And I'm like, great, good. That's anybody else that I love from the comic book. Does Dan Slott want to watch my Superior Spider-Man episode and tell me I'm an asshole? Like, and by the way, Scott Snyder and Dan Slott are friends, so probably
Wow.
He's gonna be like, look at this asshole and what he's doing to us.
Yeah,
It
man.
was
Look,
bad
look at
enough
this.
because, like,
This
not
guy's
to go
being
on a thing, but like, I was actually like, man, we were the last few episodes of back issues were like well received. People were like, yeah, like no thumbs down. Like I was like, wow, this is really cool. I did another DC book, and everyone's like, get bent. Like I hate you, bro. I'm like, oh, there it is. There's all the classic DC hospitality we can expect, and and then the creator comes out and he's like, yeah, sorry, you didn't like it, dude. And I'm like, oh.
Dude, I'm upset. I loved Scott Snyder's. I was going to say Dan Slott, but I love both their works. But I
They're
love
great.
Scott Snyder's
Yeah,
work.
like I mean,
Yeah.
I personally have to go on here and say that I think Scott Snyder is hands down one of the best writers ever.
He is
And, like, the
easily
history
one of
of
the best
writing
Batman
ever,
writers
you know.
of the last 20 years.
And I'm not saying that because you totally drug his name through the mud, or that I want him to know that
in case,
Zach.
in case he
that,
also
that
watches
Scott
our
Snyder
podcast.
is like, I just want Scott Snyder to know that I'm not like Sal. Like
No.
like
Rob,
I care about
I'm gonna
you.
call out your shit. You
No,
have
no, no.
never read a single issue
That's
of Batman
beside
in your
the point.
entire life.
He also
That's
wrote
beside the
Wake,
point.
and I believe American Vampire was his.
American Vampire is so great, and I'm like, God
Yep.
damn it!
I mean, I read all these books and everything. But okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to get on the board with this too, in case Scott Snyder does watch our
Like,
2-hour
distancing
podcast
myself
and gets to
from
the
the-
end. I love your work, Scott. Your work is amazing.
Amazing.
I've read everything you have. It's just I am not friends with Sal. We met today.
Once upon a time, there was a mean man in New Jersey named Sal.
Just a
And
miserable
Sal yelled at Scott
grouchy
Snyder and said
wretch.
he didn't know what he's doing.
who makes this good guy who just wants
did-
to tell
okay.
cool stories.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
I say on the flip side, being on YouTube, how would you feel if you put out something and just somebody made a 30-minute rant about how bad your video
I've
was?
done that. Like,
That's
no,
basically what Sal did to Scott Snyder.
I've created
Wow.
comics before, and those comics have been like either well received or not well received. And I have read like people have sent me emails where it's like, I hate you and I hate what you've done and everything you do sucks and here's why. And like, no, like I've been on the other side and it is not fun.
Yeah.
I just like, and it's funny because we've been talking about like, man, wouldn't it be cool to get like a creator on an episode of Back Issues and then just talk about their book? And Ethan and Ben have been like, maybe we should get somebody who we know watches the show so they're not surprised by what happens on the show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, they have a good sense of humor about everything. They get it.
No,
No,
like
maybe-
in all honesty, like the fact that the guy follows you on Twitter and responded means probably
Yeah, I
that
think it means
he
yeah.
watched your other videos and he was like, this guy seems to enjoy a lot of the stuff that I do, and so he was just like, I'm sorry you didn't like it. So
No, it was
I mean,
it was the most like it was beyond professional to a point where it's like you don't have to do this. Like I am not worth this much hospitality and grace. Thanks for watching my dopey show. I'm really sorry that like I chose you as the directive of my ire. Like, but
you should offer him an out. Just say like, if there's anybody you'd like me to target, like let me know.
yeah, if you
And I will lambast
You want to
through
shoot me
writing.
like a weapon, Scott? I got your back, man. Do you not like the guys in Marvel? Pick someone. I'll go
Pick
bash 'em.
somebody. Like pick
that-
some like anybody.
You know, it'd be great though is if he picked like if you said that and he was like, yeah, go bash something from Dan Slott, and then Dan Slott responded.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God.
I'd be like, Dan, check this out. Go tell this guy. And I hear he's a big fan of your work, so really, really lay into it.
Wow.
All right,
I would
so-
love to see that.
But
But
that's
on a side note, because of Sal's interactions this morning, we are going to try to arrange some meet and greets with some of these guys for the weekly poll to talk to them and give you guys videos afterwards, just so you know. That's where a lot of that came out of. So over on my channel, we're putting out Thor and Loki today. I'm working on. I'm going to put it out right now. After spending 3 freaking days putting together that brightest day monstrosity of a book, it's. I am not touching Annihilation this week. I'm saying it now.
I will
I'm
too,
not.
man.
Longest video Benny has ever put out. I was like, wait, there must be something wrong with YouTube. This is 26 minutes long. Benny will not go over 10 minutes on a video just out of principle.
yeah.
For the record, that was almost 3 episodes. Like I was gonna do a 3-parter.
Oh,
That
wow.
was
So
surprising.
after putting out that Brightest Day 26-minute video to explain all of the Brightest Day ins and outs, I am not touching Annihilation for a week. So instead, I am bringing you guys Batman Court of the Owls. Thor and Loki comes out today. Batman Court of the Owls. By the way, Scott, if you're watching this, I'm going to give you so much justice because it's an amazing story, and I'm not Sal. Anyway,
Like that's too. You.
and for the record, I was already writing Court of the Owls before this whole thing happened this morning. I'm already halfway through it, so I didn't do it based upon what happened today.
No.
Court of the Owls is going to come out. I'm going to be working on Superman Doomed because it just ended. This isn't it, but It says Superman. I grabbed it. Superman Doomed. I'm also gonna be working on the Deadpool original Sin story, and then I'm gonna jump into Deadpool Kills. I've got a lot planned for next week.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a whole bunch out before we go to New York Comic Con because I don't know what these guys are doing, but I'm taking 3 weeks off.
Oh yeah, I am.
Oh my God.
I'm taking time off for New York Comic Con.
The week of New York Comic Con, no videos. After that, the week after that, I'm going to the Fan Fest over Final Fantasy, not doing nothing. And then the week after that, I'm sleeping.
But like my channel will be filled with like little vlog videos and little like 4 or 5 minute videos. I'm just gonna upload directly from my phone and stuff like that. So that's my channel just get like flooded with that stuff during Comic Con. So that's gonna be like that 4 days is gonna probably be filled with like a ton of videos.
Oh, that's true. No, yeah, I'll have a lot of videos. It won't be stories and know your universes. It'll just be like, I'm at Comic Con.
Yeah.
Look, I'm giving Bob a noogie.
Yeah, I kicked Benny in the ankles. Broken
Hey, you're
ankles.
trying to beat on veterans.
Do what?
Why are you trying to beat on veterans? Don't make
No,
me.
I don't beat on veterans. I'm just gonna beat on you. But,
You realize you kick me in the ankles and I go down. I'll just yell, veteran abuse.
Well, in that case, I'll just keep an eye out for everybody who's going to come running to your aid. But no, like seriously, guys, we are like, you know, for all you guys listening to the podcast, like we're gonna have one hell of a time at Comic-Con. Like it's gonna be the first time all of us are gonna be meeting up and hanging out, and so we're gonna have a whole lot of fun on that level, and then. Like, we're going to be chilling at Sal's, and so we're going to be hanging out with him and Tiffany and just, like, having a good time.
And Ethan and everybody, yeah.
Real quick,
Yeah,
we didn't
Ben,
plan
Ethan,
this
and-
out. We're going to your house.
I know.
We're all going to hang out there. We're all just going to
Sweet.
crash. And,
Yeah, like Sal didn't know this until, like, 15 seconds ago, so...
No.
I hope the house is open, Sal, because we already all plan to just go there. I'm just.
But yeah, like, we're going to meet Ben and Ethan, and so we're going to have a whole lot of fun this weekend, so... And there'll be all kinds of, like, Twitter posts and... So yeah, just make sure you guys follow us on Twitter. Actually, in the comment section or in the description of this video, of this podcast, the Twitter for each of our channels are in there. So make sure you guys are checking everybody out on Twitter and following
Totally.
us because
But,
that's where
we
all our
got-
stuff gets updated. So
Rob, I'm just going to say them because they're kind of easy. Guess what? Mine's at Comic Storian. His is at Marvel Explained. Sal's is at TV Little House.
It's not. No, it's not that.
Sal says what,
Sal
man?
says, yeah, Sal
Sal
says
says
what?
what?
And Dave's is at I don't do videos. So
Hey,
That look of disapproval.
that was amazing.
this is
Dave.
gonna be every week. Benny's just gonna be like, I'm always better than you, and I'm gonna be like,
I'm not even doing it that way. What I'm doing is I'm trying to motivate you to actually make a video. Your exact response was not, I'm putting out a video this week. It was, I'm going to open Premiere.
I'm going to open the program.
Oh no, it's gonna go up tonight. Like it might be late.
I don't know if you're paying attention, Dave,
But
but the
it'll be
comments
tonight.
are all stating Dave needs to make more videos.
Yeah.
They were saying
Oh.
that one. I'm not even joking. They were, dude.
Okay,
Oh, I'm sure.
before we bounce off of here, like
I'm
Chris
looking.
Collins,
I'm looking at the viewer right now.
looking at
I'm
what?
telling them that I made like 3 videos a week for like 3 weeks in a row.
Oh my God, man! Well, hell, in that case,
you
let us
realize
flock
that's
to Dave's channels for subscriptions.
I do 5 a week on a low week, Dave. Go screw yourself.
I do 5 a week. I'm the hardest working man.
Well, mine are twice as
I'm
long.
4 a week. Even if one of them is him sitting in his car telling you guys about something you need to go do, Rob will make sure there's at least 4 a week.
Oh yeah. Like there's gonna be a contest. But no. All right. So Chris Collins asked a really good question, which is interesting because David talked about this. So he asked a question, talking about collections. Do you guys prefer individual issues or collections? I prefer individual issues because I can always go back and reference that one individual issue. Like, and plus it just makes my stash look bigger.
Yeah.
I'm with Rob on that. I actually get the individual issues because I prefer to read them that way. Even if some series I'll actually leave aside and read the whole series. I'm actually going to kill it now, but I was doing that with Batman Eternal because I was getting so tired of the cliffhangers.
Yeah.
But I buy the graphic novels afterwards because I like to have them in the collection. And what I do is I bag and tag these things and they go into the long box of like my closet forever. That's how I keep my collection.
Yeah. But yeah, so for me it's
I grabbed
individual
the
collection.
ones I liked, basically.
Plus, I think there's just something to be said about saying like I own like this individual collection as
Yeah.
opposed to like a big omnibus.
Oh, case in
Oh
point.
yeah, bring it around to me again.
No, I'm not bringing it around to you, man.
I own 1 through 35 of about 15 different DC New 52 series. Now, because they're shit, it's going to be worth like $1 in 3 years. But I own the whole series.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I like. But no,
Well,
I'm not
hey,
going to be.
you're making
gospel.
up for it because Scott Snyder's Batman and is it Azzarello's Wonder Woman
Yeah.
is awesome.
I'm not getting Wonder Woman.
I don't like it.
You're kidding me.
I'll jump into single issues, and I don't like that issues. I don't continue my story, and I give it like 6 more issues and check the next arc, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I read we did an off the rack that the audio got screwed up in the last like 5 minutes of the episode, so it's like a lost episode of Off the Rack of Azrael's Wonder Woman, and we all hated it.
Really?
I hear a lot of good things, and I'm thinking about.
I've heard that too. That's why we read it.
Like I got volume 1 and 2 and I recently read 2 because I just recently got that, but I loved volume 1 and I always wanted to get volume 2. I get volume 2 and it's still good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so as a final send off, because they've been asking, at least one dude has this whole time. I'm gonna do our shout outs. All right, old school. What I used to do podcasts back in the day. I'm just gonna. All right, so shout outs to everyone who's joining us today, and I'm gonna go ahead and say thank you, Grant Riordan, Cyborg, Chris Collin, Sonic I Hedgehog 1, P.A. Stewart. I'm gonna go up a little because they're not talking fast enough. Chris Sands, Kush Smoking Democrat. I like it.
Push smoking
Mr.
Democrat.
Hubbard.
Wow.
TV Little House Comics. Well, those guys suck.
That's me.
That's Dante from Clerks.
See, by the way, you followed me on Twitter, man, and as soon as you followed me, I'm like, I know that guy from the Weekly Poll.
That's right.
Kronos 0316 is retarded. That's actually his name. Cameron Pu. He stinks.
Yeah, Cameron, man. Dude, that's Cameron.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Wait. The Altar of Madness. Xavier Goshton. Deborah Eichhorn. And to end it from the guy who's been asking, Brian Spragu?
Sprague?
Brian Sprague or Spragu. Whatever you want.
Sprague, old world style.
Wow.
And Jeremy Troxtel and Drake Parker, not related to Peter Parker. Tyler Reeves, Aiden Kulik, Michael Tyler, Keenan Williams. All right, that's I got it.
Yeah, I think Gumby Garcia wanted a shout out too.
I gave it to him, and I gave
Oh.
him a spec because I remembered him from Twitter. Fine, Gumby Garcia. That's all on Twitter. And then I spent like literally 10 minutes looking at his tweets trying to figure out who that guy is.
I mean, I think the name Kush Smoking Democrat is a pretty badass name.
Hilarious.
Right, we all-
pretty awesome.
So we're going to agree the winner of today's YouTube name contest is Kush Smoking Democrat.
Oh, the
You
best way
win.
to the best
If you come to New York, Rob will have a cookie in his pocket for you.
Connor, the best way to contact me directly or anybody directly is to send a message on Twitter.
Yep.
It's to hit us up on Twitter. Like I'm always checking Twitter because I'm finally caught up with the technologies now.
Yeah.
I got an iPhone. I'm
You
in the
got an iPhone?
21st century.
What?
But yeah, I've got an
You-
iPhone.
Like
so
you did a video and you said you have an iPhone again. So did you once have one and then just
Yeah.
like stop?
no, I had an
having
iPhone
one?
4, and then somebody decided they needed my iPhone 4 more than I did. So they
Oh,
took
that
it.
sucks.
Yeah, they stole it. So I experienced the
Nice-
hurt. I experienced the pain.
nice-
I didn't know
nice
if I could ever get
reference.
past it.
Nice Guardians of the Galaxy reference.
Yeah,
what?
I didn't.
What if I want it more than he does? No, sir, you don't understand. I want it more than he does.
Yeah.
But no, so yeah, I got an iPhone 5. So
Nice.
Yeah,
So
no,
I'm-
Twitter is the best way.
Yeah,
what he
Twitter's
said. Also, I think we all have email addresses too. Like mine's comicstorian at gmail.com.
yeah, mine's
Mine's
Rob at
at comics
marvelexplained.com.
or
You own
mine's
Marvel
comics
Explained?
reviews.
Yeah,
Or is it a-
marvelexplained.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Is
don't
it
know how to-
up? Like, is it an actual website or is it just an email?
It's
I'm
an
looking.
actual website, but it's pretty basic. It's
Marvel
pretty no frills.
We are making a website, a joint website for the YouTube Comic
Yes.
Book Alliance.
Which, by the way, I need to hit you up when we get done with this podcast because there was like I liked the whole thing, and there was one of those I really liked.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we gotta go over that afterwards. If
Yeah.
Sal doesn't die.
But
Yeah.
yeah, Sal's hair's all over the place, and I don't know what his deal is. Get it together, man.
That's great. You know it.
Heads up, your iPhone
Your hair
6.
does look
Don't
good.
put it in your pocket because it will bend and permanently warp.
Oh,
Yes, yeah, and then when you
Yeah.
try to bend it back, you'll crack the screen. So
Yeah.
It's only like the 6 Plus though, isn't it? It's not the regular 6.
I don't know.
It's
I'm
both
going with
of
the
them.
Galaxy now.
But
This
this
is my
isn't a
attitude.
tech show. I wish it was, but it's not.
We could do a tech podcast. Well, every week following this, we have a tech podcast, so Dave knows what he's talking about for once.
All right, so here's a question that we also have for you guys that me and Benny were talking about. I don't know if Sal and Dave would be interested in this, but would you guys be interested in seeing us have like a separate channel for just like playing video games, where like we would get together and play like Borderlands the pre-sequel, or like some other co-op game or something like that?
I already have the channel. Jeez.
Well, I'm talking about putting it on my own gaming channel, man.
You want to launch your own second? You need to get on my level, have multiple channels that you're trying to manage.
Yes, I do, sir.
All right.
All right,
Well,
people are starting to drop off because we're
including me.
rambling.
Including Sal. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and bring this podcast to an end. We're gonna wrap it up because we've been rambling on and on and on and on.
Sonic the Hedgehog 1 says, any thoughts on Gotham episode 1? Are you freaking serious?
Oh man, you are late to the
back
party,
You are late to the
hours,
party,
man.
man. Yeah, we've been going
Get
like
on the trolley.
we spent like 35 minutes talking about it.
I was like,
Yeah,
Avengers,
so
like,
rewatch this after it gets posted.
But yeah, so anyway, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Yeah, I have Instagram too, in case you guys are. Instagrams is okay. I don't really use it that much. Like,
I'm gonna take penis.
actually, I use Instagrams. Like, I use Instagrams a lot. But I took a picture of baked chicken last night.
I was gonna.
But-
What am I gonna do? Take pictures of my penis, but then it came out as I'm gonna take pictures of penises.
No, I didn't take pictures of penises. I'm not taking pictures of penises and putting them on Instagram.
I have a very clean Instagram.
Yeah. But yeah, so all right. So we're bringing the podcast to an end. We're wrapping this up.
Are you
So-
sure?
I think so.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any last thoughts?
I'm still better than Dave.
Of course you
Oh.
are.
Really quick, I just wanted to mention, based on the year zero stuff and the fact that everyone thinks I hate DC, I'm going to be doing but I'm going to be doing a DC book that I like on back issues this week.
Is that the plan now?
Is that
What is that?
Birthright?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
A little
hard.
teaser for anybody at home.
You better shit on it.
No, I love it. This is great.
No. What you need to be reading, if you want to talk about how great DC is, go read.
I already know. This is going to be a joke.
No, go read Future's End. What's it?
God. I read like 4 Future End books, and they're all horrible.
All right, let's close this out.
All right. We're gonna close this out because we'll literally just keep on going for the next
Exactly. Good.
hour. All right. So
Yo.
yeah, peace. We'll catch you guys later.